The Earth is very flat.
What's going on, everybody? It is Thursday, February 25th. I'm Brandon for The Brandon Show. Hope everybody's doing okay out there. I see we've got some people in Discord, some people in chat. Everybody's ready to go. It's feeling like springtime here. Hope everybody's doing okay. Let's see who we got in the chat. Mojo Shot, Rude Earther, Ian Adams, Page 42, Neo the One, Mark Collard, Saber 307, David Reed, Serious Truth, Page 42, Bandsaw Bandit, Caveman Smash, and C4. What's up, guys? How you doing tonight? Let's see. What do we have going on tonight? Uh-oh. Computer's acting funny. What's going on there? That's not a good sign. Let's see if we can clear that up real quick before we get going too far here. Okay, I should be back. Hopefully that clears things up. I don't want you guys to have that shitty screen out there. And we'll see if that worked or not. But anyway, let me put the Streamlabs link in the chat and pin that to the top for you. If you want to support the channel, you can do it through Streamlabs. That's much appreciated. I think you guys can hear me. Yes, you can. Awesome. There it is, pinned to the top. And what do we got planned for tonight? Not much, to be honest with you. Probably see where it goes. We've got some people in Discord. See, I've got some messages in the background. So we'll see what's going on. And go from there. Probably do some NASA bashing. That's always fun. Maybe somebody will tell us what's up with those plastic zip ties. And how the hell we can tell the difference between a model and CGI in reality. If anybody knows the answer to that, let us know. But for now, let's see how everybody in Discord is doing.
Snowballer, like the guy would have you when my ex-wife came out to California for the first time, and we were driving up the coast from LAX and the Pacific Ocean was there. Melissa was just saying, "Oh, it's so beautiful, so beautiful." And my dad's like, "Yeah, but when the low tide comes out, there's like 5 miles of beach. The ocean just disappears for like 5 miles." And she's like, "No way." And I just sat there biting my tongue because I knew my dad was, snowballing her. But so, listen, I learned from the best. I mean, I could totally have just been like, "Yeah, what are you guys talking about?" Like, I have no clue. Like, what? And you guys were even like, "How do we tell Travis he's talking about a sexual orientation? How do we break it to this guy if he doesn't know what it is?" It was hilarious hearing that pregnant pause. It's funny.
You almost had me, Travis. Almost.
I guess, sort of, eh?
No, it is, eh? It was
certainly confusing as fuck.
What did I walk in on, huh? What's going on, guys?
Just a bunch of hosers.
Okay. So nothing new?
What up?
Nah.
Oh, there is something kind of new. I guess it's not North Carolina, North Dakota. Outlawed mandatory masks. Means no one can force you to wear a mask there.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's real good. They stated it's not a prison and a prison camp, and they can't treat people like they're in a jail.
A lot of my family's from North Dakota. It's a nice state. It's just so freaking cold in the wintertime.
Well, the thing is, it's not the season for the flu anyway. And like I say, and I think of the years gone by, they had these things to shoot you up for everything from, I don't name the disease or name the virus. But how come, polio was supposed to be gone? How come it came back? How come we still have to, and we still have all these
Listen,
viruses?
bro, what's this got to do with Flat Earth? I come here to listen to Flat Earth discussion. Why are we talking about this?
Got on a tangent there.
I didn't come here to listen to some guy rant about
masks in one
COVID.
place,
If I wanted to listen to something
go.
rant about COVID, I'd go to some other channel. We're here to talk about Flat Earth, Jimbo. Knock it off.
Good enough. But it was just one little mention of, fuck you. A little mention of a mask and some mask freedom for people. So blow it out your ear or wear a mask forever. What do I
go
care?
get a rim job.
Snowballing, rim jobs. Look, so you know how I think that this is
Robert,
almost
in the
over,
air.
and I'll tell you why I think
You got
they're
a
almost
donut
done
shop
with
over
this.
there? Maybe the German donut hole eating contest going on?
Huh? I'll tell you how I think I know this thing's almost over. They're almost done with this COVID psyop. Carnival Cruise Lines stock price up since February 1st, about 36%.
Ooh,
Yep.
we got to jump on that.
Royal
We got to jump on that.
Caribbean, same thing. Norwegian Cruise Lines, same thing.
Ooh, nice.
The airlines are going up. What do all these have in common?
Yeah,
Somebody's buying, somebody knows something.
they're cooking the market, bro. They're cooking the market.
Yeah. So that's the deal there. The money knows what's going on.
Yeah, before it happens. Yeah.
Yep.
Same
Oh.
thing probably with that GameStop shenanigan.
Oh my gosh. Did you see that again? Kick myself in the ass. You know?
I know, dude. I know. 3-4 months ago, I'd have probably like $500,000.
Right?
Seriously.
Just one time I want to get lucky on one of these things, you know, or be smart enough to be like, okay, I'm going to buy some Bitcoin in 2017. I'm just going to put it in here and leave it alone.
Yeah, I you know what? I published that crypto link in Facebook and said, you know, if check this out, if it looks interesting to you, click this link. It'll, you know, help support me, and then you can start your own, you know, your own bank. And the guy goes, yeah, but what about when the powers that be cut off the power in the internet? I'm like, bro, that's like so 2018. like if I would have bought Bitcoin in 2018, I wouldn't have an issue right now.
I know it.
Right? So do it. Just shut up and don't worry about it.
Sign up for Crypto Tab on using Brandon's link. I'm telling you guys.
I'll put the link in the chat.
Yeah, I got it running right now.
Oh, that's cool.
Hey, listen, let me ask you guys a question.
Yeah.
So I was out shooting the Chesapeake Bay yesterday, and I came back, and it was like 3:30. And the way my building is, the moon was coming right up over the roof. So I set up my camera and took some video and shots of the moon. So I was out shooting today at the same time. So the past 3 days, I went out to the Chesapeake, same time, same 2 o'clock hour shot, so I could do some comparative stuff. So I came back, right? 3:30, right? No moon.
No moon.
No moon. 3:50, no moon. 4 o'clock, no moon. 4:30, the moon starts to show up. An hour, bro. The moon was here at 3:30 yesterday, and today, 4:30.
What are you saying that you think it just disappeared?
No, its circuit was an hour slower.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
So, but I don't ever notice these things. Like, I've noticed a lot of the times that the moon is really consistent, right? It comes up every single time, the same time. There are a few times where I do notice that there are, but I'm always driving my truck, so I'm never able to take photographic evidence. So, is it not going to show up until 5:30 tomorrow? Right?
Yeah. What time is it supposed to show up? Was it late? Was it behind schedule or what?
I don't know. I'm just saying. I didn't even look at the thing, but I can look and see what tomorrow's maybe looks like.
Because it does go slower than the sun, obviously, or is it faster?
No, I get that much.
Right?
Sure, yeah, I get that much. But I'm just saying, an hour. You would expect, like, if I'm going to shoot the moon at 3:30, and I'm like, oh, I'll just do it again tomorrow. I'm going to think it's going to be there at 3:30 again, not an hour later.
Yeah.
Like, is it going to be? You know what I mean? Like, is it going to be like an hour off every day for the next 5 days? So it's going to be, so the moon's not going to come up until 9 o'clock on Monday.
The thing is, time is moving faster now because the Earth's rotation sped up. So you got to adjust.
Yeah. Anyway, just shit I'm noticing, man. That's
40
all.
minutes. Mark Collard says it's 40 minutes.
It was an hour, bro.
It was an hour.
I took a picture last night. I just checked the timestamp, and I just got done shooting at 4:30. So I set up at 4:30. Yesterday was 3:30. It's an hour for me.
It'll be 40 minutes behind. is what he said. So if
When?
it's
Tomorrow?
every day. So if it's 5 today, it'll be 5:40 tomorrow.
Okay, listen to what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yesterday it was 3:30. Today it was 4:30. That's not 40 minutes.
No, I get you. I got your discrepancy that you're
Right.
saying here. I get
Okay.
that. I'm just clearing that up for people who don't know, like me. I'd never realized it was 40 minutes different every day, or supposed to be. But anyway.
Yeah. All right. No worries.
So what's going on? I see we got Allie B in the chat. What's up, Allie?
How you doing, mate? A wee thing about time there. The tides stop for half an hour on the turn. So when you get your high tide, it'll be still for half an hour, and then it'll go back out, and then it'll sit for half an hour, and it'll move again, back in again, which is quite interesting. If the moon's affecting the tides, I wonder if the moon stops for half an hour. That'll work.
It's called the ebb
That'll work
tide.
out. That'll work out. What's his name's Travis's discrepancy there of an hour. Maybe the moon
That's your
stopped.
ebb tide, they call it.
Yeah,
Ebb
but
tide.
it's
Huh?
half an hour anyway.
It doesn't
that was
go
it.
up or
Oh,
down.
one more thing, Brandon. I think it was the Kabbalion that guy was talking about the other night there. It wasn't the Kabbalah. It was a Kabbalion he was talking about.
Oh, it was something different. You mean the Kabbalion
Yeah.
versus... What was he comparing it to? I forgot.
The Kabbalah, you brought up the Kabbalah, but I left a link in the chat. It's about the Hermetic teachings, about the laws of nature, the 7 principles.
Oh.
And I think he was trying to relate, which is quite right, because I read the book years ago and I just went, wow, and this was before Flat Earth. I was like, wow, that's just like what science says. Wow, about everything vibrating. It was like I was reading this book and I was like, wait. This, as I say, this was before the Flat Earth or seen through science. I thought, well, that just kind of explains a lot, just the 7 principles. It's very interesting, but anyway, that was it.
I'll have to check that out.
I'm here.
I was just reading last night, because I was watching horror movies. I was reading about demonology and grimoires and all this magic shit people are into, which I have no idea about any of that. But are people really out there like summoning demons and controlling them?
Yes, indeed they are.
Is that a thing?
100%
Can you do that?
Or they believe that Jack Parsons and that other guy, they actually they went away. This was their story anyway. They went away when they were out in the Mojave Desert. They were doing ceremonies and stuff like that, like that Aleister Crowley, and they were summoning demons. But they even kind of admitted that it wasn't really demons. It was more like it was self-induced kind of thing. They didn't actually believe that demons existed. It was more of I don't know, but they didn't reckon you could manifest, and they were experimenting with mushrooms and acid and all that.
So they were just getting high and making up good stories.
I know. Well, they were experimenting, Brandon. They were going, right, I'm going to take this and I'm going to observe and I'm going to write down my findings of it. So they were actually doing it as a scientific experiment.
Decent ghost hunters out there. Tim Morozov, he has a channel, and another one's called Dark Ghost. They're both Russians, and they go through some pretty freaking hair-raising cabins and haunted places, man. Just hard to fake what they go through.
What are the channel names, Jimbo?
I just said them. One is Dark Ghost.
Dark Ghost.
And the other Tim Morozov.
Oh, I like that kind of shit every once in a while. You guys ever watch the videos where people go into like abandoned, old abandoned Russian places and old abandoned buildings and shit?
There's not much makes me jump out of my skin, but these two go through stuff that once in a while, man, it just like your skin will crawl. I guarantee it.
I hate that. I hate that feeling.
You don't like horror shit? And
I don't. I mean, there's some like I can watch. Look, I can watch like Freddy Krueger and Friday the 13th, but like there's a certain line that gets crossed when it gets like into the psychological shit as well. And when my skin crawls, that just creeps me out. Just creeps me out. I
It's
mean,
a
like,
warning sign. It's a very
it's
serious
absolutely
warning
just,
sign.
and I don't know if it's because like when I'm watching, okay, let me tell you this real quick. Okay, so when I'm watching like Freddy Krueger and that shit, nothing, no problem. But I remember watching the movie with Tawny Katane, White Snake's girlfriend back in the day, and she started in this movie called Witchboard, which is about Ouija boards.
Yeah.
That movie creeped the shit out of me. Like, seriously, like I was creeped out. Like, serious. I don't even know how to describe it. How your skin would crawl, but it was just so intense. And like the movie Get Out.
Oh yeah.
Have you seen
Yeah.
seen Get Out?
Yep.
That creeped me out. I don't know. There's just this level of psychological thriller horror shit that just now. Did you ever see the horror movie The Cube?
Oh yeah, that was a cool one.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah. I watched that. No problem.
Yeah, that's more like a psychological kind of horror thing. Those are cool too.
Yeah, but I wasn't creeped out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I wasn't like.
Usually, like if there's goo and death, it's porridge and intestines, so it's not real.
Like, I've still not seen the Blair Witch Project.
Oh, that was good when it came out. That
Have you
scared
seen The
the
Hostel?
shit out of me. I tell you what.
No, I haven't seen The Hostel.
Oh, that's the kind of stuff
That's
that creeps
just
the
sick.
shit
The
out.
Hostel
Like, who would
series
watch
are
that kind
totally
of shit?
sick.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't recommend them for anyone. They are, represent an evil that is beyond what anyone should ever tolerate. It's just too disgusting.
I think it might be that. I think maybe that's it too. Like, there's a level of like, like it's like what real people could do to others.
Oh man, it's really something, isn't it?
Yeah.
I get into true crime too, and it just blows my mind. The reason I get into true crime is because I'm fascinated, but the people will actually do this shit. Like, I just don't understand the psychology at all of what make you plan like your wife's murder for a couple $100,000.
Right.
This is fucking insane.
Have you met my ex-wife?
I don't think so.
I have 3 exes, and I never planned on murdering any of them. I could have a 4th, and I wouldn't plan on murdering her if it didn't work out.
And that's what always boggled my mind too. When they were like, well, we have to have the death penalty as a deterrent. I'm like, deterrent? Are there people out there who need to be told no so they don't kill people? It never made sense to me, Like,
it's not good. Listen, we talked about psychopaths the other day.
Yeah.
The death penalty is not going to deter a psychopath.
Not one of them.
Not at all.
I wouldn't think so. I mean, if you got that inside of you.
Yeah, they even admit that the death penalty on death row that's not going to change anything.
Yeah. Have you guys ever had a nightmare where you killed somebody?
Oh yeah.
That is a horrible feeling.
That I woke up. Yeah, shit. No shit, dude. I woke up and I was just so petrified, afraid. And then I was like, wait a minute. And I was like, thank God. Oh my God. Thank God I didn't do that. It was crazy.
Yeah, exactly. That exact feeling. And you're just like, holy shit, I've ruined my whole life. I can't believe it. Yeah.
We used to have to help butcher the cows and stuff on the farm, and I was young when it started, and it gave me nightmares. I'd have nightmares that a bull was chasing me through the barn. I'd hide in a freaking closet, and it'd be ramming its horns through the doors trying to get me. It just, wow.
You used to have nightmares about killing about the cows coming after you?
Yep. You bet.
Yeah, what's up, Allie?
Brandon, I got a question. Who was it you killed, or what was it you killed?
I can't remember any specifics, but it was like some random person, and I had him stuffed in my couch, and I was like, trying to hide it from my wife and get somebody to help me, like, get rid of the body, and I knew the cops were gonna find me, that type of situation.
Bro, I told you to dream where you were a fucking serial killer, and I was like your assistant.
Yeah. Well, you got to come over and get this couch out of here, then, Jeremy.
Fuck that.
Yeah, you stuff them in a barrel in the garage and add some battery acid.
I had to improvise.
What did you have a dream about Brandon was a serial killer, Jeremy, and you were helping him?
Yeah. Yeah.
They say that dreams represent. I could make a guess about the two dreams there. Would you guys mind if I just made a guess? Because
No,
I
please do.
think right. First of all, Jeremy, that's quite an easy one. That could be related to the fact that Jeremy thinks that you're doing a good job of supplying a platform for people or himself to get the tools to go across, and he goes across to Gem Pandas and assassinates. So he could possibly regard you as your assistant and bring it and murdering ballers. But right, well, as I say, it's well, that's one. But I think with you, that would be something about you that you weren't happy about, that maybe you thought your wife disapproved her, and it's something to do with a couch. Because you see, you regard, like in dreams, you would regard a couch. What do you usually do on a couch? You sit on a couch. It's a comfortable place, and so you're trying to, I don't know, hide something. Maybe you feel you're lazy or something. I don't know, but maybe something like that. It's certainly associated. It goes deeper than that. I'm saying that these are just guesses, but you usually in dreams, like I could say, for example, what room were you in? You know, was it your living room, or was it in a different room? Was it in a strange room? You know, it's like loads of that. But yeah, dreams are quite
Hold on a
interesting.
second, guys. Don, you're
Anyway.
hot micing a little bit. Don.
Oh shoot, my mic's on.
So what's it mean if you dream about killing people, but you don't wake up freaked out?
Well, I'm in my dreams asking Freddy if he's seen Jason.
Well, if you didn't, that means it was a honourable killing then, right? You're not going to feel guilty for it. So you were getting rid of something that was probably harming you. Because just because it's a person, it could be an aspect of your personality as well that you're killing, you know. Dreams are quite, they're quite deep when you go into the analytical side of it. But it could be a load of bollocks as well, you know.
Right.
But these are the things you look at when you do. I used to do it with my friend and myself. She like studied it, so we used to just sit for hours talking about dreams. It's quite an interesting subject, but it's all subjective. It could be absolutely nothing at all to do with what I said, you know.
I had a weird dream when I turned to God and started following him. I didn't expect it at all. It's not like something I thought up in my head that it would happen. But I went to that same week, I had a really crazy dream of this like reptilian hand that was huge. I mean, like really, really big, coming up from somewhere in some dark place and then reaching up to grab at me. And it was so real. I woke up, dude. I couldn't go back to sleep.
Yeah, that's quite. It just depends. Because it's what you represent, that hand, that reptilian hand. It's more of what you could think. Right? What does that represent? Or in the real world, what does a reptile? What about its hand and stuff like that? It's crazy. It's crazy. It goes deep, but it's usually about something. It's usually about something that's bothering you, or maybe not bothering you, or something that's going on around your surroundings, and they say it's your subconscious getting rid of it.
Well, there's a lot of shit going on up there in your subconscious. I know that.
Yeah, man. It's yeah. God lives there. You know what I mean? God lives in the consciousness. That's what I believe anyway. I don't believe it's like a physical thing. I believe that, because it seems to, as the Bible, I believe the Bible talks in metaphors. So when they say, there's a lot of this God's within you, you're better to pray on your own. You don't need to go into places. So it kind of, in a lot of the passages where they describe who God is, you could quite easily imagine God is more of a self-governance, like a natural morality or something like that. A logical morality, like don't killing her.
Okay.
And it's inside us. That's what I believe anyway. You know, I don't. You know, and what the consciousness is, I suppose, the God, because we get good. We have a choice to be good to people or to bad to people. So we make choices, and choices are like it's part of consciousness. And what the fuck's consciousness? I mean, where does that dwell? You know, is it chemical, electrical, chemical reaction, or is it what the fuck is it?
Whatever it is, the fascinating part, Ali, is that it can play a movie to you while you're asleep.
Absolutely.
You know, people have had entire other lives when they're asleep in their dream. They'll wake up and they swear to God they lived an entire life.
Oh yeah, that's absolutely crazy. Like years pass, and you wake up and you're like, "Fuck, did that happen last night?" That whole thing. Yeah.
The best dreams are lucid. You guys ever lucid dream? I've only done it maybe a handful of times myself.
Yeah,
but
very,
it's
very
fucking
small.
absolutely amazing.
Same here.
It's amazing.
I'll tell you about one I had. It was during the winter time, and I was sleeping a lot. It was like when I was first in college, like 19 or 20 years old. So I don't know. I was sleeping like 16 hours a day, right?
Or 20.
Or 20, sure. 16 hours a day. And I don't know what brought this on, but I went to sleep during the day and I wasn't even tired. And I had a lucid dream. It was the craziest shit in the world. I went outside in my dream. I realized I was awake in my dream, but didn't wake up. Like I didn't freak out. And I was talking to other people who were there who were cognizant of what was going on. And then I was jumping from building to building. And then I jumped out of the atmosphere and flew through the atmosphere out away from Earth and was looking back. And no, I can't remember what the Earth looked like. And then realized that I didn't know how time went by in lucid dreams. And what if I had been away from my body for a really long time? So I decided I better get back and like zoomed back into my body.
The first thing I do when I'm lucid dreaming is I look for a girl. Obviously.
Oh, you're smarter than me. Yeah, that's a...
I don't go around jumping from building to building like I'm Spider-Man.
I would ask Brandon quickly, see when you, do you remember how you felt when you were looking back at the Earth? Do you remember that? Or that didn't pass your mind?
I think I was more freaked out that I was actually getting so far away from the Earth. Like, wow.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
He said
right.
he saw a glow
that's what I was
him.
meaning. And Jeremy, what did you feel when you saw that woman?
I mean,
sorry, guy.
Blood rushing through. Anyway, I had a dream once that Rumpus finished his paper.
Or the Rumpus had finished his book.
Or he did his experiment.
Book, but
yeah, what's funny is...
Or his experiment, yeah.
when I was a kid, I had a recurring dream, like tons of times, that I could fly. And
that's the best dream ever, by the way.
The only way I could fly though is I had to run backwards for a certain amount of time. I don't even know, like 20 yards or something. And then I had to turn around and jump, kind of like the Greatest American Hero.
Mario.
He had to, but I did what Jeremy did. I would always go and find a girl to take up with me and fly around with. That happened all the time when I was a little kid. It was crazy.
You guys are doing gay shit. That's what you did with the girl?
I was a kid, bro.
I know, I'm just fucking with you.
He would fly by and people would say, is that an airplane? Is that a bird? No, it's Ether Band Boy.
Yeah.
Everybody drink.
Have you ever been a girl in your dream?
No comment.
For me?
I'm only kidding.
No. No.
Carlos has.
But those crazy.
Yes.
You know what? There's two things that. There's two crazy.
Carlos had a pretty dress too.
If you saw me as a girl, you wouldn't be able to handle
polka dots, man. Polka dots.
I used to.
Sorry, Carlos, I couldn't resist.
Not repeatedly, but quite
what they all say.
Few times. When I was going through grad school, I was a waiter, and every once in a while I would have a dream that I would finish my shift, and go home, but then realize that my shift wasn't over and I had people waiting for their food.
Oh my
Right?
god!
You guys
Yeah,
ever have
those
Ah,
dreams
there's a
suck.
lot of them. I've met a lot of them people.
You guys ever have the detachable penis dream?
No.
Oh my gosh.
Ah,
That
don't want
happened
to hear
to me
that.
once.
That's new to me.
No, that's a
That's-
real thing. Yeah, I've had that a couple times.
There's a thing with that, and also with losing your teeth. I have losing my teeth dream at least 3 times.
Maybe that's your consciousness, Jeremy, to tell you to stop fucking playing with it.
I've had the teeth one a couple times too. Yeah, that one's weird.
That's crazy.
This conversation's diving, man.
It takes 8 times a day to get a Section 8 from the U.S. military.
Okay. How about
Right,
the pictures on Mars?
Pictures
Oh,
on
Lord.
Mars.
They are so cute for CGI and fantasy images, and that parachute coming down with the nice blue sky and such vivid
Yeah.
colors.
How about
wow.
the message, the
From
encoded
how many
message?
millions
they
of
say?
miles away?
I hadn't heard about this. Se, what they have they found an encoded message or something?
Well, they left a
Yeah.
encoded message on the parachute pattern, which
Yeah.
is just a nerd stuff.
Google
from
it, it'll
nerdy
come up
people
right
at
away.
NASA.
Oh,
Hey, SE, you
okay.
sound exactly like Carlos there. Wow.
It's yeah. Well, it's also
What
they
have
also
I
did that
done
in the
to,
patterns of the
get you
wheels
mad,
of the
Ali?
Curiosity.
Right, sorry, SE, say again.
I said, what have I done to get you mad? You said I sound like Carlos?
Oh, sorry, no, I'm saying I was hitting it. Brandon asked you a question and Carlos chose to answer. That was all.
Oh, I'm a little slow today.
Sorry, guys. Maybe I'm a bit too cryptic there. So let's talk of crypto.
Yep.
Oh, I see. So okay,
Connection issue.
the parachute, the red and the white. It's a some kind of pattern.
Yeah.
It's like
yeah.
binary.
Oh,
It's a
okay.
binary message, and it's like I said, it's just pure nerd. NASA people nerding out and doing stuff.
Sure.
Like if they have to put a pattern, might as well put something on there, basically, so they could just put something in there.
In case a Martian finds it, yeah.
Well, it's boring sitting there, creating stuff on CGI for hours at a time. You got to think of some way to liven it up.
No, so you saying that CGI then?
I don't know. My brain tells me that this is not a real picture, though.
Well, let's just detach from the fact whether it went to Mars or not. But would you admit that it looks like it's an actual camera filming actual objects? I mean, does it look real enough?
Yeah,
as in,
I'm
like,
not
it
saying
could have happened, whether it was here or over there.
I'm not saying all of the pictures that they have taken of this Perseverance thing are fake or CGI, because I'm sure that they have a real little thing. They have a real little Perseverance rover. They take real little pictures of it, and they have a set somewhere and stuff. This could be real or fake, but for some reason, when I look at this, it looks fake to me.
What I'm saying, like the footage of it landing, does that look like actual footage of actual things, whether it was in Mars or in some desert?
No, I think that looks fake when it's landing.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Like there's the sand and the dirt moving around and the parachute deploying. That looks fake.
Something about it
As in
seems
CGI?
like something that I'd seen in a movie. I can't put my finger exactly on it, but
even in a movie they use models and other things that are actual real things. That's my question.
Maybe
Like,
what I posted will help you out, Brandon. Check out 554. Oh, sorry, Ali.
Oh, no. I wanted to ask Carlos, right? So you seen that that thing that dropped Rover shoot off, right?
Right.
Where do you think it went to?
It went and crashed somewhere else.
Did it crash? They never said it crashed.
Why would they have to say that it crashed? What the heck are they going to do with it?
Well, I don't know. I just wondered why it flew off. All they said about it was that it just it detached and it flew off, and they never mentioned it again. And I was just wondering, would you think it'd be possible that? Would you be thinking it would be possible that they could be flying that around there and looking at the area?
With what much? How much fuel do you think? How much
Well, what do you
fuel do
mean?
you think you can put on that thing, dude? I mean, it
Uh,
had to use fuel to slow
I
down the
don't know the
descent
amount of fuel.
and then to hover.
Well, there might be something about the fuel that they're using or the way that they've developed
my
a
God.
new system.
Well, I can tell you for a fact that thing was meant to
Carlos,
slow down,
look, Carlos,
do the
you're
descent,
not
and then
going to
fly off.
educate me. I can assure you,
Oh,
anything
well,
you say is going to be made up shit.
your skepticism sounds very
No,
not well founded.
you totally never even entered into a conversation there, and you were going to start talking about shit you don't even know about, like you usually do. All I wanted to do was enter into
really?
a conversation to speculate a bit and ask you, but you immediately, wait a second, you immediately went straight on the defensive there. So fuck
Well,
you.
yes, because I know
All
what
I
I'm
wanted to
talking
talk,
about.
I wanted to talk to one of these ballers. I wanted to talk to to the ballers about it, but you totally said, "Oh, it crashed somewhere," and you were, if I'd let you go on there, you would have went about 10 minutes telling me all about what it did and why they wouldn't do this and
Fair enough. So,
talk about
what would you like to talk
So
about then?
well, learn by that then. Stop being like that. Enter into conversations if you want to have come and have a conversation. Have a
Well,
conversation. Don't
you
you do
took
this.
like about 3 minutes just to complain.
Doesn't
So
matter.
yeah,
It could
let's move
take
on.
10 minutes, mate. Hey, listen, Carlos. If you took 10 minutes to explain myself
Dude, you're
something
taking
to me,
4 minutes now
I
to
would
complain
sit.
about me taking too long.
I would sit and
Question.
listen. Look, I would sit patiently and I would listen to what the other person says because my father taught me that was fucking manners. Anyway, never mind.
Indeed.
I'm muted.
All right,
Question.
excellent.
A question.
Well,
So
he ran
why
away.
did they question? Why did they use CGI in the video to put in a lake and claim that it was there 3 billion years ago?
So that's what this
What did
is
they
right
do?
Why did
here.
it?
This is supposed to be the CGI
Yeah.
one with the lake in it. Is this one supposed to be real?
Yeah.
Hang
Yeah.
on. I'm not looking at the stream.
Oh,
I
okay.
got the whole video right here. It was on,
Obviously, it's not gonna be real because if it was supposed to be a representation of where it was years ago, of course it's not. Let's see.
This
but
is
they claim it was there 3 billion years ago. How do they know that?
they don't.
They're basing by the features that they see on the crater, similar to like Grand Canyon and stuff. That's what I've heard. Whether that's right or not, I don't know. But that's what they go by.
How do we not know that's just CGI or something on Earth and it's a geyser?
Well, that right there, where they're putting water on it, obviously that's not real because that was a representation of what it was allegedly years and years ago.
Is this one supposed to be real, Don, or is this just the before CGI? This looks like
it's,
CGI.
the one at the bottom was before, and then they put it in the water. It was on NBC.
Oh, okay.
When they were doing the whole
So yeah,
thing.
so they're showing that in the past they would have water, so they show a representation of what it would have looked like allegedly.
Right.
But obviously that was not to be real. I mean, it's obviously they have to do a quote unquote artist rendition.
Right. I don't know. This part of the story seems a little hokey to me too. That they found this crater that possibly used to have water in it, and that's where they're gonna land this thing. And
well, they're just going by the way it looks like what like Grand Canyon at one point it had water supposedly, and they're like, well, it's got the same features as that, so water might have been there and sediment. So they're saying, well, most likely there was water there at one point. So we sent this little remote control thing to pick up samples, and then hopefully we can, if there was life, we can find life on the samples that we pick up on the ground. That's basically it.
no, I get it. They always have a backstory to go along with it. I got you.
Well, yeah, I mean, if you wanted to know where life was, and if that was a body of water, you would think there would be some life there. So that's what they're going by.
Well, I'm wondering how they got where they get the 3 million from. That's how.
Yeah, that's I don't know. That's a science that I don't know enough to comment on, but that's what they say.
That is what they say.
And yeah, I am still trying to figure out whether the Earth is as old as it is. I don't know. It could be 6,000, 8,000 years. It could be millions and billions. I don't know.
I agree. So is that part of? I know you're a Christian.
Yes.
Does that inform your viewpoint on that particular subject at all? How old the Earth is, or do you think?
Well, that's the thing. Like, it's people say it's 6,000 to 8,000 according to the Bible and everything. So, if the humans were put in Earth immediately after being created, yeah, I guess that would be the case. But it's kind of it's up to debate with even with some Christians and scholars whether it took 7 literal 24-hour days to create, make the creation, or is it just an interpretation to be able to be explained in the Bible. So I don't know. Yeah, that's where my skepticism come from, because I don't know. I could be wrong.
I got a question.
Yeah.
They claim craters are made from asteroids, right, or meteorites, right? Why isn't the meteorite still there, like a piece of it? Now I get that it'll disintegrate through time a little bit here and there, but shouldn't the whole disintegrate as well? It should start to fill back up just as much as the rock starts to disappear.
On where, in Earth or in other celestial objects?
Earth,
Well, in Earth,
anywhere. Yep.
in Earth, it happens. When you have rain and erosion, it starts changing. But in other places that don't have a cycle, like with rain and atmosphere, it probably it doesn't, unless you have winds like you do in Mars, I guess.
Right. But shouldn't we see a asteroid or a meteor rock in the middle of one of those, or somewhere in that location?
Not necessarily, depending on allegedly, depending on what speed they collide. It just it's a piece of rock hitting dirt, and they've done experiments here on Earth at different angles, different speeds, and it just freaking blows up and goes to bits. For what I've seen.
So basically, we're just going on speculation that it could be that. It could be a geyser. It could be a giant geyser.
Not speculation, but they've done testing, impacting rock with other rock materials and sand and dirt and whatnot. So I don't know. You have to think about the speed that those things hit, when they collide. So I don't know.
You see the one in the picture I posted, the last one. Look right in the middle, where that's what a geyser looks like, an active geyser, right in the middle. It's a big old hole. Yeah, it's in the general.
Oh, I see it. Yeah.
Right in the middle, that looks like water, like a regular operation geyser that's being
also
working.
The last picture is a previous geyser. That's what it left. What it leaves right there.
Yeah, well, it will look like that. If you look up geyser, just study them. In the center, it looks just like that. Even when there's water, you'll see it.
Could have been.
It does say in the Bible. It does say in the Bible that the water's broken up, not just rained down, but they broken up too as well.
Oh yeah, it came from the ground. Yeah, they came from the ground. So you're saying that most likely it's possible that the so-called craters in Earth may be remnants of actual geysers whenever the flood happened.
Right. Yeah, that's my take on it.
Yeah, it could be. I mean, you got to think about before the flood. There was no rain, so there was different ways that moisture made it to the ground and to plants. So yeah, and after the flood, it was. I mean, the whole Earth went out of whack. So yeah, I never heard that, but yeah, for the sound of it, makes sense, man.
Yeah, just look up geysers and look right in the center of a geyser that's active, and you'll see a dark hole all the way straight down. Well, if that geyser dries up, right, and stops working, of course, like the last picture, it's gonna leave a little dark, weird shape in the middle.
Right. Yeah, I see it. Pretty cool. You think that's what the big crater over there in that desert is? What's that crater called?
Oh, I know which one you're talking about. Yeah, it's huge, right?
Yeah, it was in a movie, right? There was like a big old spherical ship landing there or something.
Where's that at? In Arizona or something?
Arizona. Yeah.
Mexico. Oh, there's one in Mexico. Let's see if this is it. Oh man, this one's huge. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not saying that it is facts. That's what they are. I'm just saying we can speculate from asteroids to geysers. It needs further investigation.
Gotcha. Shout out to Shang-Chi. He's alive.
you know, we
He's in the
can
chat.
we can do all
Well,
this stuff and say, oh, it could have happened like this.
Shout out
and
retracted.
we're never gonna really know. It's fun to talk about, but 6,000, there's no reason the Earth couldn't be 6,000 to 8,000 years old. Let's say even the material that's on the Earth is older. So they brought the material from somewhere else and put it here, or you know,
who's they?
Whoever created this place. I don't know. I just said they because I think in my head that this place, my
You don't want to misgender God?
yeah, that's right. I want to get the right pronouns.
I'm sorry, I couldn't help
that's
it.
funny. That is funny.
Oh God. This is joke. My mom used to tell me. There's this kid that asked his mom, "Hey, mom, is Michael Jackson a man or a woman?" And oh no, that's not. I'll butcher the joke. It was something about not being asking if God was a man or a woman. He said, "No, he's neither a man or a woman." I said, "Oh, well, God is Michael Jackson then." But anyway, I butchered the joke. Carry on.
You did butcher it pretty bad.
Yes,
I
you
did.
smurfing did.
I totally did, but hey, it was good. When I told
In case nobody heard me, I said shout out retracted for that Sean G shout out.
I was wondering who said that.
I found one so you can look at. See what I mean? See the center is more depth. It's more. And then
Oh, that looks like my toilet bowl in my basement.
That's funny.
When the water looks
That's
like
cool.
that, isn't it like you wouldn't want to swim in that? In some of the there's
Well, I see the yellow might be some oxidation or sulfur, something, right?
Something.
I don't know.
There's a couple places like that, like this in Michigan, where it's like crystal clear blue like this. You can just see all the way to the bottom, but nobody goes swimming in it.
Heck no.
I think it's hot. Hot.
Oh, it might be hot. Yeah, it's pretty cool though. Is this just like a puddle? Is this like a, what is this? Like a porch over here? Is this like 6 feet around, or how big is this thing?
True, I don't know. They got one in Iceland that is huge. They got some big ones that you'd be surprised.
It's all part of the Earth's filtration system.
Right, yeah, right. Just thought to throw it out there, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's cool. Anyway, anyway, so yeah, so in no new NASA stuff, huh? No new cool stuff from Mars. Nothing. I saw an article here. Where was that?
I know that the microphones didn't work or something on the rover when it was coming down. But
yeah, they were just doing a live on Facebook. I stopped watching it, but they were doing a live.
Yeah, I didn't have time to listen to that, but evidently they put out some sound. I heard Jaren was talking about that, but I didn't catch what the deal was. Like the sounds of Mars.
Yeah, they had that out days ago.
Oh, did they? Okay.
I wonder what kind of internet connection they have for a microphone.
Sounds like somebody blowing into a microphone, as a matter of fact.
I'm pretty sure that they don't broadcast the audio live. They actually store it and then send it. It's a limited amount of bandwidth, especially since they're communicating with an orbiting satellite. So they store and then they send the data as they have line of sight with the satellite, alleged satellite.
They probably took a satellite with them, and then they just dropped off satellites on the way there, so they can get service
in the clouds. They probably dropped them in the clouds.
Well, that's where satellites go.
According to the story, the fantasy, there's an orbiter. You guys know that, right? There's an orbiter.
Oh, look
they
at
dropped
you.
it
You know
off
what
and
you're talking
still
about.
orbiting. Yeah.
You have to, man, because we barely can get any signal down here, and the satellites are closer to us.
But we don't get signal on our phones from satellites, dude. Who told you that?
Globers used to say that all the time.
No. Well, if any Glover said that, they're uneducated knucklehead for saying that.
A lot of Globers are uneducated. Well, I don't say educated, lacking the knowledge of their.
I have something just to bring up real quick, if I could. So
It depends.
I know that this isn't my field, Carlos, but it's still an interesting question for me, and I can't imagine what the legitimate reason is. Okay, so just for instance, when I go to my grandmother's house in the foothills of California, the minute I turn up her canyon road, I got about a quarter mile before my phone will lose signal. But when I get up to her, okay, but then 3 miles up the road, when I get to her house and there's no signal, I have no problem with my little Garmin GPS turning it on, right? So I'm getting a signal. Okay, listen very carefully.
I'm sorry.
If I can get a Garmin signal that is GPS, why can't I get a telephone signal from a satellite?
Because your telephones don't work off of the satellites. They work off
Great.
of
Why
ground
can't
towers.
they build me, right? Why can't they build me a phone that has access to the signal from the satellite and it works just like a satellite phone?
Well, here's the thing. They have, as they call a satellite phone. But the difference is that your cell phone...
Listen, I know. Listen though. If you can make a satellite phone, just make a cell phone a satellite phone. The reason why they don't is because they have an industry that is commercial and they want to make as much money as possible. So they sell you a cell phone and then they also sell you a satellite phone when they could just make one fucking phone that does both.
Travis, here's the thing.
Yeah.
You can actually you can actually get an application on your phone where while you're connected to your cellular network or a Wi-Fi, you can actually download the data for a map on a area that there's no cell coverage, and then you can navigate with your phone because your phone actually also listens to satellites, and you can use your same phone as a GPS navigation without having to have.
I don't want to use my phone as a GPS. You're misunderstanding me. You're misunderstanding me.
I'm explaining
I should
it
be
perfectly.
Okay.
You are able to do that.
Okay, listen to me very carefully. I'm not talking about using my phone as a GPS when I'm out of range for cell phone coverage. I'm talking about being able to access signals anywhere in the fucking world because you can do that with GPS.
I have the answer for that, Travis.
Well,
you're a truck driver, right, Travis? Just like
he was
me.
asking you, who are you talking to? Who are you talking to?
You, Travis.
Is somebody muted here that I can't hear?
What, you can't hear Silent Zero? Say something, Silent Zero.
Hey, what's up, Brandon?
What's up, man?
I just joined to give Travis his answer because there's an answer for that. The Samsung Note 3, they used to have that variant where you were able to, without having a signal from your cell phone, you were able to use your GPS.
Yep.
And then they change it. They change it from like more modern cell phones. Now they don't have that option. It's all working only on when you have the antenna available.
Right. So I already answered that question because that's the case with the built-in GPS application.
I'm not
but
talking.
You can get any...
Okay, listen.
Yes, I know, but I'm just letting him know I already answered that question. So you're saying how come I have to have two devices? Can I just have a phone that can just use satellite signal so I can always have data and satellites GPS navigation? Is that your question?
Right.
Yeah. So you can do that. You just have to have a satellite internet dish around with you, because
listen. You're okay. Does anyone else not? Okay, listen. Does anyone else not hear where the disconnect is? I don't want a fucking satellite dish because guess what? When I'm up the canyon and I have just a fucking Garmin, I don't have a satellite dish, but it's got a signal from a satellite allegedly, right? and it's only
Mhm.
for GPS. Now, you can fucking make a signal come from a satellite that has cellular data for it so that you never drop a call, just like you never
Right.
drop GPS, okay? It's that simple.
Right.
There is no
Well,
excuse.
it's not that simple, Travis, because we're talking about
it is.
system. Listen, well, okay. So, do you want to continue with the conversation since you know you're
That
right?
makes sense. That makes sense,
No.
Travis. I
Yeah, it
definitely
does
understand
make
where
sense.
you.
Thank you, Don. Thank you.
I
Right, but
definitely
need-
understand where you're getting at. Yeah. Why
Yeah,
can't they do that? Why can't they? Yeah. Why?
Well, yeah, I'll tell you why. So the systems in between a GPS and a cell phone, they require different type of what's it called, communication. So GPS, like your TomTom, that's receive only, and those are low Earth orbit satellites that are a lot closer.
They can make the shit, bro. They can make the shit. The reason
Okay,
why
then
they
why are you
don't-
arguing?
My phone uses service and GPS at the same time. I could be on the phone with somebody and still be connected to GPS.
Yes, because it's a different
Same
system.
thing, different name. Same
It's-
thing,
no,
different name.
Oh my gosh.
It's
No,
commercial.
your
I'm telling
phone,
you, it's
your
commercial.
phone, your phone will not have GPS if you don't have the antenna, the signal.
I could be on the phone and I'm on
Wait
the
a
phone
minute.
and I'm still using GPS.
Wait a minute. Say that again. Your
Guys.
phone will not have GPS if what?
If you don't have signal from the antenna.
From the signal of
What?
what?
Of the antennas.
Okay, listen. You didn't.
Before-
Okay, so you. Okay, so maybe
Travis.
you didn't hear me.
Oh my
Silent
God.
zero.
Oh,
So
hold
much
on. Give
of
me a
it is
second.
voice over
Let-
IP protocol
Travis.
today.
Travis,
Oh my
I still
God.
have an old phone where you have the option, even if you have it on airplane mode, you can turn on the signal for the GPS and it will work.
Okay, listen.
They removed that feature from the phone.
Did you hear? Oh yeah, but did you hear my the way that I led into my question? Did you hear my introduction?
Say it again. Oh.
Okay, just real
Can I-
quick. So I'm saying, just hold on, Carlos. I'm saying that when I go into where my grandmother lives in California, a quarter mile up her road, I lose my cellular signal. It's gone. And then when I get 3 miles farther, I have no cell coverage. None. But I've got GPS and there's no antennas. So where's it coming from, right? So I'm saying
there are antennas.
okay,
They're built
then
in.
I should fucking have a cell phone connection.
No,
But
because
he-
those
and
signals
let-
are
hey-
different.
hey- Yeah, so here's the thing, Travis. Once again, for GPS, all you need is to receive the signal from the low Earth orbit satellites, and it's a different frequency, different size antenna. Now, if you want to have,
bro,
Antennas.
listen to what you're saying.
Listen, but if you want to have a connection with your phone where you can use make phone calls or have data, that requires a lot more bandwidth. So you know
Right.
that you can just say, oh, if GPS works, then they should make something for the phone to work. No, dude.
Yeah,
Those
that's right. Exactly.
Right. So
They spent the money building the fucking tower for the satellite bandwidth.
Yeah.
yeah, they didn't have to send it up miles up in the atmosphere.
Yeah.
What
it's
are
a
you
lot-
talking about? There's no
Yeah,
satellites,
man.
buddy.
Oh well, I love how you ask me the question, but then somehow you are an expert on something that you don't understand.
Hey,
You're trying to find
Travis,
out.
Travis, you know what DGPS is? DGPS?
No,
It's ground based. Well, they supposedly, it's an enhancement to GPS, but they're on the ground. They're ground towers. Would you guys agree if they have GPS hooked to a cell phone tower that is more enhanced, that works better for GPS, while at the bottom, say at the bottom or top, wherever they have the position for the cell phones to work? So they're on the same tower. It's just one works better than the other. Like, peanut butter, Jif compared to generic.
Anyway, good luck, guys.
Travis,
That's it?
Yeah.
what are you getting at anyway? I mean, what does
I'm getting at that if they can get me a signal for GPS, they can get me a signal for the cell. The reason why they don't
No, they can't.
is because okay, pretty sure Brandon asked me a question, Carlos.
Yeah, but you say
Shut
you're
the
treating
fuck
those
up,
two.
Carlos.
You're treating those two things as equal.
He asked me a question. Just let me ask.
GPS is receive only, and for cell phone for data
Okay.
it's send and receive. So that's two different, very different systems that
You can
require
do it,
different
bro.
amounts
They
of
can
bandwidth.
do it. They can do it.
Okay.
The reason why they don't is because it's a commercial business and they want to get as much money out of it by limiting the cell phone
and that's
coverage.
what Daddy Elon is doing it right now with Starlink.
You really do
But
need
still,
to let someone finish what he's saying.
Yeah, well,
cutting him off. I mean,
well, the problem is that he goes on and on and on.
you don't
So-
let him finish a sentence.
Oh, I tried. I
He
just
was
don't have enough
answering one
patience.
person, and you cut
You know
him
what?
off
If
before-
Carlos, shut the fuck up. You're such a woman, dude.
No,
You're making up
I'm not a
bullshit
woman.
excuses. You're
how dare
making
you
up.
misgender me?
You
Beta.
are acting.
Somebody has an
like
open mic and shoveling stuff
fucking-
around.
Yeah. You are acting like a fucking woman right now, making excuses for why you're interrupting me, okay? You have no
All right.
excuse for interrupting me except you're a dick.
Mm,
You're a dick.
that's my no.
He
My
asked
excuse is
me
that
a
you are
question.
that.
Listen, Brandon asked me a question, and I just started answering
All
it,
right,
and like
go
30
ahead,
seconds
man.
into it, you
Sorry.
interrupt me.
I'm sorry, Travis.
No, you're not.
I'm sorry.
I don't think you are.
Oh, this
think
is
you
this is
are.
more painful. I should not interrupt you. You're right. This is more painful. I'm sorry.
You are correct. Try to let
I
people
am
finish
sorry.
what they're saying.
Yeah, I'm regretting it. I'm regretting it. Sorry. You're right.
Travis, dude, I totally understand what you're saying. I totally get. I don't know why they're
course you
not
do.
getting it, but I get it.
Oh yeah.
I can't believe you're not getting it though. I get it completely.
Who, me?
It's-
You say you don't believe why I'm not getting it?
Yeah, I don't understand why you're not getting his
Dude,
question.
but did you get when I explained that the two systems are different, and then one requires a two-way communication and the other one doesn't?
Okay, why don't they utilize that and come up with a better service for phones?
They have
You
been.
know-
They're doing it, but people are scared of it because it's got a
They're
scary
scared
name
of
like
it.
5G.
Telephone is sent over the web over a process called VoIP. Most
my
of what
God.
your cell phone, well, it's easy to do a lookup for it and find the equipment and the systems they run, the tunneling they call it, that has to be in the modems to allow for telephonic communication and stuff, special channels, like it's all there, but it's VoIP, voice over internet protocol, and that's how
Yes.
most of the cell phones are handled, over the internet.
Yes. What about it? How does that add to our conversation?
It has nothing to do with satellites.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Exactly. Phones don't have anything to do with satellites. My point exactly.
Yeah, there are no satellites up there as they're claimed to
Okay.
be.
Sure, buddy.
We got there finally. Hey,
Yeah, right. When
No,
have
yeah.
you ever seen when have you seen a video coming from a satellite filming some space rocks?
How does DirecTV and Dish Network work?
They point straight up.
At what?
They'll be bouncing off the ionosphere. That's a speculation. You guys can't prove
No,
satellites are in
speculation.
space.
Okay,
You guys can't
okay,
prove
fair enough.
satellites are
Hey,
in space.
Fair enough. They're bouncing signal off of the ionosphere. Okay, using trigonometry, couldn't you be able to, figure out where the signal's coming from and find the ground station for satellite TV and debunk the satellite TV?
Not every satellite is pointed up 90 degrees.
Well, they don't have
I'll
to be.
tell you.
That wouldn't make sense on a flat or globe Earth.
Directly in front of me is the highest communication antenna in the east of this country. It's over 700 feet above sea level. It handles digital TV, radio, all that kind of stuff.
What are you, a
And
walking encyclopedia?
would you please let me finish what I'm saying? Now, there are a bunch of
my God.
satellite dishes that run up this street that I live on, and they are basically pointed at buildings. And they're angled so they pick up a reflected signal from the antenna tower up on the mountain to the north. They are not pointed at the sky, at the yonder blue.
Bro.
So they are not working off of a satellite and a signal
they are.
coming through that building. I guarantee not. No.
Okay.
I know
Why is
for
it
a
so-
fact DirecTV is.
there seems to be a contradiction here, though, because we're saying, okay, they don't route cell phones through the satellites because why? It's too much traffic for the satellites.
Exactly.
Why? Or what?
Yeah, TVs. Yeah, exactly. So, for example, for TV, you can have one satellite feeding let's say, a list of 100 channels, and all they have to do is point out a parabolic dish and tune into a specific channels. It's not a two-way communication, and then and it allows for you to have access to that anywhere and not have to run infrastructure of miles and miles of rural areas.
Okay.
That's the benefit of satellite TV. But you're not going to be able to use internet on those, and even if you get satellite internet, the bandwidth is limited. Most of the times they give you a data cap because you overload those systems. We're talking about one or two geosynchronous satellite miles away trying to handle multiple subscribers. Now, if you have a system like cellular, yeah, you can have multiple towers and multiple nodes and servers. They're going to be able to handle a lot more subscribers. So yeah.
Wait.
Sense,
hold on. So, like, if satellites make GPS available for anybody, that means it's got limitless subscribers.
Yes, because it's receive only. They're just broadcasting.
I get that,
location
dude.
That's what they're saying
Listen
about
to
these.
me. That's what I'm saying, dude. You can. Yes, I agree with you. Don't say fucking okay? Shut up and listen. Because when you say you don't give a shit about what I'm saying.
That's me letting you know I'm engaged. That's me letting you know that I'm listening to you.
No,
sorry.
No.
If you don't like feedback, I will go on mute.
Yeah, go on mute. Okay. I understand. I understand the point that you're making that the satellite is set up for receive only. It's not two-way. I get that. My point is they could just as easily make a two-way receiver and get coverage everywhere. They can. The reason why they're not, okay, my phone doesn't have coverage everywhere, so obviously not.
Yeah, but they've done it for satellite internet, like HughesNet, Sky Blue. What's his name? Elon Musk is doing it with low Earth orbit satellites, allegedly.
Yeah, on weather balloons.
I personally think that they have something up there. Yeah, weather balloons or drones or something that they are using as satellites. Yeah.
All right. I want to ask Carlos a question. So you know how GPS cuts out on the ocean, Pacific Ocean, right?
I don't know.
Really work for pilots.
I haven't.
Okay.
Well, it does work for pilots. What are you getting that it doesn't work for pilots over there?
Well, because they will get a transmission back that they fly in the dark. So that's why they have this certain type of traffic lane they go down. Just, it's just by chance,
Hang on. Well, let me correct you. So when they're flying in the ocean, they can receive the satellite signal so they know their location, but they cannot broadcast their location out to anybody else because GPS is receive only. So they just receive the signal from the satellite. Right. They work out their location. So GPS does work. They just don't have a way to send that data back to ground and when they're that far away from ground. So yeah, carry on.
So these buoys right here on the ocean that are in the chat, they receive as well. So could they be receiving from that instead of the ones in so-called space?
The transmitters on the top of the airplane.
Yeah, the receivers on the top of the airplane, but yeah, I guess they could. I don't know. Shoot, I don't know what those buoys are.
The GPS monitoring systems, they receive signal just like how you explained they receive up in space.
Those buoys receive signal from satellites and then do what?
They receive. Well, they claim them for ways like big weather system type of stuff, but they still call it GPS. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That's the
thing. So do they? How do they report back the data they acquire?
The same way the satellites receive, right?
Well, I'm saying if GPS is only to work out your location. Now there's other satellite systems that they can use that when they either pass over them or if it's geosynchronous. I don't know if it will use a geosynchronous satellite because they'll have to have a really big dish to be able to pick up on that, and the buoy is not stable in the water. So they're probably listening to low Earth orbit satellites, and when they get a connection, they probably transmit that data. So they store the data and then when they get a line of sight with a satellite, they send it up. But I mean, I don't know where you're going with that.
Using these down here for GPS is where I'm getting at, and boats and ships obviously have a tracking system as well.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing with submarines, right? I mean, what would they use? Submarines.
Yeah, there's some specific satellites they use when they get up in the surface and wait for line of sight and broadcast. I mean, who the heck is gonna want to pay for a cell phone that it works when you go away from civilization, when you only go out of range, for 3 miles at a time when you're gonna go see your grandma? They make that stuff for talking like a satellite phone, but I mean, think about it. Who's gonna be the targeted consumer to have a phone that you can use the internet with? Probably gonna be bulky as heck. You're probably gonna have to get some sort of antenna because you're not gonna get that much bandwidth.
They don't want to do it. That's a risky road to take for them, dude.
Sorry, let me jump in just real quick because so in Virginia, between Charleston, don't say Carlos. I hate it, dude. You're so patronizing, bro. You're so patronizing. Just let me say what I'm gonna say, bro. Okay. So
you're very humble. Yeah, go ahead.
In Virginia, from one city to Lynchburg, it's an hour. Okay, and when I would drive it in my truck for work, I would have no cell coverage for 60 miles. 60 miles. All right. Yeah. And this is like just flat, nothing. Right. And there's houses around me. There's grocery stores around me. But my phone, whether it's my carrier or not, that's not the issue. But I had no cell coverage for that far. To me, that blows my mind. So when you say, to be sarcastic, who cares about driving to your grandma's house for 3 miles and not having cell coverage? I had no cell coverage for 60 miles out in public domain. So it happens, Carlos, that you don't have cell coverage.
How public was it? I mean, it sounds like you're in the middle of nowhere.
I just told you. No, I didn't say I was in the middle of nowhere. I said I'm passing houses. I'm passing towns. I'm passing others. I can see a fucking cell tower.
Okay, and you didn't have cell phones. Well, maybe you're a carrier then.
That's beside the point. I said that. The point is, I didn't have. Okay, I didn't. So I'm bringing back to the point that you're missing. That you said, who cares about going to your grandma's house and not having it at 3 miles? Okay, fine. You don't give a shit about that. I had no. Don't sigh because you can't answer the question. Okay.
What do you want me to tell you, dude? Look, I
want you to acknowledge that yes, Travis, you're right. Fuck you, dude.
You're never
Travis. Travis, yes,
Ed,
you didn't have coverage, and there were some houses around. Okay, now let me tell you, as my experience as somebody who's I've been driving around, working and stuff. I've been to towns where you have to go move to one specific intersection and a hill to be able to get cell coverage. Yeah, that happens. The smaller the town, the more likely it is to not have good cell coverage or don't have any at all. So what? We didn't have cell phones 20 years ago. When you drove on the road, you didn't have any communication. My goodness, how entitled are you?
Bro, the fact that you just said how entitled are you, you don't get my point, and as long as it gets it, I'm good.
Okay, what is your point? Can you elaborate and just explain me your point?
Travis, you're arguing with a relatively low intellect, very bull-headed individual.
His point is that if we were getting signal from satellites, there shouldn't be 60 miles without coverage.
The phones are not getting signal from satellites. We passed that 30 minutes ago.
What are the satellites for then?
Oh my gosh! Oh my goodness! You're pulling my leg. Get out of here, man. I'm about to say,
how about you answer the question? What are they for then?
Hang on. Were you not here like 30 minutes ago?
I've been listening.
Ooh, a
It's
troll. Trolling a troll.
But
We are
clean
trolling a
your
troll right
oídos,
now.
my friend.
Hey, I got a question for Jimbo. Jimbo,
This is great.
I heard that you got booted from 24/7 today. What happened, man?
No, I just got muted and they wanted to lecture while I was muted, and I don't hang around for that crap. They couldn't take the heat on relative density and
I
stuff
feel
and
you,
all that
man.
crap, you know.
Oh, it's tough over there, dude.
You know, it's
tough.
like I say, it's a neuro-linguistic control. The density has no purpose being used as well liberally as it is, because it's not right. And then to add the relative to density to make it sound smarter as well. I got fed definitions for it, and they include something that got shot in the head 40 years ago, which is specific gravity. So now they want to say, well, we're bringing back relative density, and we're using specific gravity to define this relative density. So now we're back to gravity and specific gravity, something that was etched out of the books decades ago.
Are they doing
And
that
they
on
expect me to shut
24/7?
up, and they won't address the question of, you know, their definition, including specific gravity, something from 40 years ago that got shot in the head because it was a dog. I don't know where these people are. But you can't have a discussion with two different vocabularies and two different sets of definitions. And they're inventing, you know, creating new definitions for.
So are they trying to take? Are they trying to take gravity and redefine it or something, or trying to bring it back?
Jimbo, you were telling them they couldn't
They're
use
trying to
specific
define
words, and then
buoyancy
you
as a force of some kind, and the motion
No,
of
you
an
were-
egg through water as proof of, you know, no gravity.
you were
and
telling.
you know. But
You were telling them you
say
didn't.
the egg could be made to rise or fall without changing the density, simply by changing the air pressure over the surface of that liquid in the container. If you increase it, the egg will sink. If you lower the pressure, the egg will rise without changing the actual concentration of salt in the water. Likewise, like apples bob and float in the water and don't make it to the bottom. And scales, well, they measure stuff pulling down. You take a little scale, like a jewelry scale, flip it upside down with it on, and take a balloon full of helium and let the balloon rise and press against the plate of the scale. It will measure weight upwards.
Right.
In grams. Funny.
Right. Yes.
Not down. Huh. But
true.
anyway, I just go nuts trying to say the same thing. We need to define the terms, increase the vocabulary and have it precise, and move on. Otherwise, this is just like the Coriolis thing.
Semantic.
Yeah, like I say, they want weight and measure. Oh, define weight, blah, blah, blah. You juxtapose them. Well, look, I didn't invent the bullshit about weight and mass. They're both units. If I go to the store and I want a kilo of grapes, I'll get 1,000 grams of grapes. If I get 2.2 pounds, it'll cost me the same. Because as far as relevance and these weights and measures here and now, under, well, our medium of air, at room temperature and sea level, well, a pound and a kilo, or 2.2 pounds and a kilo, are equal.
Jimbo, they were telling you that you were telling them that they were using the words wrong, so they asked you to define them. Yeah, so they asked you for your definition of them, and you didn't give it to them.
I tried over and over to give them the definition of density over volumic mass and the correct use of both. Deaf ears into getting muted and yelled at by 20 people at a time, and told what I think, and told how I'm like Bob Nodell, and told I'm this and that. I let them think what they want, and I told them they can and are welcome to do it. Follow their new age gurus, whatever they want. Like I said, if you get QE to say relative density, that's a thing. Good luck.
Yeah.
Okay, so
he's got a problem. He doesn't know what he's talking about when it comes to that either, I guess.
Hey, Jimbo, your take on it. Gases contain a static charge, right?
Pardon me?
Gases, like gases, helium, nitrogen, propane.
Gas.
Yeah, it has a static charge, like statics.
You can make them charge positive or negative. Yes, they can charge.
Right.
But the point is, when it comes to volume, if
Uh-huh.
you have a jar with a liter of hydrogen in it and a plunger, and you compress it to 500 milliliters or cc's, you have twice the density. Double
Right.
the density. You can't do that with gold. Squeeze the gold all you want at room temperature. You might squish it, but you won't change its volume to mass relationship.
But what does that have to do
Right.
with anything, though?
Well,
What do
it
you mean,
means you're
right?
not
What does that
changing
have
the
to do with
density.
anything?
Welcome to Jimbo's logic.
Well,
What does
it's
that have
because
to
you're
do
not
with anything?
changing
That's some
density in any way, shape, or
non-sequitur.
form, and you cannot.
That makes sense. That definitely makes sense, Jimbo.
No, what makes
the
sense for
gases,
what? What
you
does it matter
definitely
if you can change the? What does it matter if you can change the density of an?
It matters a lot. You're shipping. Say you're
Why?
shipping a bunch of cork.
Oh.
Say it doesn't matter. The volume
my
of cork,
gosh.
It
you can
doesn't
roll
matter
it
when we're
down.
talking about relative density. That's irrelevant. It's non sequitur.
Well,
shit.
it is relative. If you got a 40-foot container to fill, and you can
Jimbo,
compress cork,
you're a useless walking encyclopedia.
yeah.
Carlos,
Stuff
man, no, he's
No.
making sense, bro. He's making sense. You just
I'm
don't-
joking. I'm sorry.
It's
I take that back.
styrene and
That was
bromine,
uncalled for.
and then they mix the two, But volumes and volumetrics, they're very clear. They're very well understood. Strain gauges, there are millions and millions of them. No one wants to adopt the word strain or strain gauge when it comes to the force of bearing down that mass has on whatever.
What about the force going
That
up?
downward force is measured
What about the
statics.
upward force?
by strain
That's why I say
gauges and
statics.
converted
That's
to
why
Jimbo,
you-
what about the
mass
upward force?
weights.
Statics being
Jimbo,
less
what about
dense
the
than the air
upward
around
force,
it.
though? What about the
Statics.
upward force?
I got
You just-
static.
three people at a time, and this is what happens everywhere.
Hold on, let's let Jeremy
it's
and
not a conversation. It's a
let's let Jeremy and
a
Jimbo
dog supper or something.
work this out for a minute. Let's hear what Jeremy. You seem to have an issue with what Jimbo's saying. Go ahead.
Yeah, you're talking about weighing the downward force. What about the upward force?
And covered that with the upside down scale in the balloon with helium.
Listen, just a plug real quick for Good Times for All. Okay, Good Times for All right now is working on a presentation for incoherent dielectric acceleration. Okay, which has to do with the fact that the Earth is grounded with a negative charge and the air is positive. So that's going to be a very interesting video. I encourage you guys to subscribe to his channel, and but it's kind of like what we're talking about right here. But I think that you guys are a little bit talking past each other, so just be patient with each other.
Yeah, no, relative density.
Cool, man.
This is where we have. Is my mic low?
No, you're good. Go.
No.
This is where we have the real science with relative density. That shit is real science, natural science. We have a fucking hypothesis. We have the cause to an effect. And you're trying to fucking deny it. It's bullshit.
You have a cause for an effect that
Yes.
can be, duplicated with air pressure on your subject vessel there with the egg in it. You don't have to change the concentration of salt to move the egg around in your water.
What are you saying with the air pressure?
You see, you have your egg neutrally buoyant in the water, in a jar, right?
Do you have a demonstration of this?
You don't need one. You add salt to the
Yeah,
water,
we do.
and it rises, right?
Yeah.
If it comes less salty, it sinks. That's easy to understand.
Okay,
Now,
we can understand the
with
words
the
that are
egg
coming out of
neutral
your
in the
mouth.
water, not moving up or
Do
down.
you have a
Hold on,
demonstration
Travis.
of this?
Hold on, Travis. Let
Instead of trolling me,
Jeremy and
just shut
Jimbo
up.
are going.
Tell other people, shut up, boy. For the love of fuck. But if you increase or decrease the air pressure on the surface of the water, it will affect the egg. If
Let's
you
see it.
increase the pressure
I don't
on the
believe you.
surface of
Let's
that
see it.
water, the egg will sink.
Yo, I don't believe
If you
Let's see it.
decrease the
Yeah.
pressure, the
Stop
egg will
saying
rise.
it over again.
So
Stop
you just
saying it
have
over
to do
again.
it.
Jimbo, I don't believe you. Do you have a demonstration?
That's
I really
interesting,
don't care what
Jimbo.
you believe in. Yeah, I posted a demonstration about 2 or 3 fucking years ago. You think
Well,
I know
let's see
where it
one
is?
right now. I wasn't
I
here
could
3
set
years
up a
ago.
new
Let's see
fucking
one right
jar
now.
in about 10 fucking minutes.
Let's see one right now.
Okay,
I wasn't
listen,
here 3
Jimbo.
years ago.
Listen, Jimbo. I don't know why you're triggered, bro. Okay, you made a claim. There was a pause.
It's more than
I
a claim.
asked you a simple
Just a fact.
question.
Like these facts
Jim.
of life.
Jimbo,
change.
listen. Okay, you are saying something
You're
to
calling
an
it my
audience.
claim. It's not my claim. It's just
Shut
like air
the
next
fuck
to a
up,
vacuum.
bro.
I'm done.
Okay,
You're
you made a claim. Okay, you made a claim. All we're doing is asking you to show us this. We understand the words that are coming out of your mouth. That's not the problem. We just want to see what you like. How do you know? How do you know this? Did you just think about it? Did you see it? Yeah, I saw
actually
it.
done it. Maybe by tomorrow I'll set it up. Well, tomorrow's Friday.
It's that easy, bro. There's no reason to get
put up my
triggered.
little suction pump and show you a fucking egg going up and down because of air pressure.
Right,
above
but you're
water
making the
surface.
egg denser. It's
Too
still
bad.
relative
If you
density.
think
It's
it's
still
that
relative, dude.
complicated, I mean,
Hold on
after
a second.
6
Hold
years
on.
in this, you can't visualize something? How many
Jimbo,
times
you're
do you ask
describing
people to
relative
visualize
density and knocking
something?
it at
For
the
the
same
love of
time, bro.
fuck.
Hold on a
Serious
second,
standards.
everyone, please. Hold on. Jimbo, are you saying that you're going to change the air pressure above the water and the eggs, and you can make the egg go up or down?
Interesting.
Is that what you're saying, or did I get it confused?
Yeah, I think so. I mean,
Jimbo.
You can change
Jimbo,
the temperature on
is
the
there
water.
any of you
and
guys named Jimbo?
it's definitely interesting, bro.
Yes, changing the air
Holy shit,
pressure
man.
above the water will change the position of the egg. Guaranteed.
Are you changing the density of the water when you do that, or no?
0%.
You're not changing the density of the water at all when you do that?
You're applying a negative pressure
course
to
you
the
are.
surface or increasing
How
the
did
pressure to
you
the
determine
surface.
that?
You're not adding salt or removing salt from the water.
And that doesn't change it. And when you change the air pressure above the water, that doesn't change the density of the water at all? Jimbo? Hello? Did I get
Yeah,
disconnected?
I hear you.
I definitely want to try that out myself.
Did anybody hear my question?
I hope someone does, because I'm
No,
sick of it all.
Why are you sick
I'm
of it all? We're
definitely
just
gonna try
simply asking you. Okay, look, if I make a claim and say
Hold
something,
on,
and
let him
somebody
answer
says,
my question, please, Travis, please. When you change the pressure above the water, is it changing the density of the water?
he already said no.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, and then I said, how do you know that the density of the water didn't change? And then there was no answer.
It don't matter. He's changing the density of the air.
So how do you know? You said no. How do you know?
Hey guys, can I get a mic check real quick?
Because the mass of the water
good.
hasn't
Can hear
changed at all. Hasn't changed at all. It's still the same amount of mass.
Well, this seems like it'd be easy enough to try.
Hold on.
I think someone should
Hold on a
definitely try
second.
it.
Isn't
Hold on.
water's
Easier to
incompressible
try.
as far as I know? I don't think you
Yeah,
can compress
absolutely
water.
right, Fe. That you can't compress water, so the
You can't
density
compress it, so the
doesn't change.
density should remain the same. Yeah, exactly.
It
As
does. It
pressure-
remains the same.
Hold
You're
on.
right.
Guys, this is
I think
from
you're just causing a vortex. It's just a vortex.
Let me
You're
ask a
just-
question. Let me ask
hold
you a
on
question
second.
real quick.
Hold
All
on,
right,
real
all right.
quick. Air as pressure increases, so does water density.
No, it doesn't.
It should.
In
Why
a
not? What do you
container,
mean
it does
is?
actually, Ali B. In a
The
container, it
density
does.
increases
You
as
can't
air pressure.
compress. You
Water
can't
is
compress.
non-compressible.
You can't compress
Altitude-
water,
Wow.
meaning it can't get denser. You get it? If you compress a rubber ball, it gets denser. You can't compress water, therefore it can't get denser. Even at the bottom of the sea, at the bottom of the Mariana Trench, it's still the same density as it is on the
You
surface.
can't compress water? Are you sure of that?
And pretty much anything that's solid,
Okay.
you cannot
Oh.
compress.
You can compress
Can you
it.
tell me
I wasn't
why
saying
Is-
the
is
pressure?
water
Hold on,
solid?
guys.
Is-
Can you tell me why the pressure on the bottom of the sea is greater than on the top?
Yeah, right.
While you doing that, tell me the shape of the earth also.
Who cares? Why you
Flat.
changing subject?
If we
Flat.
don't know the shape of the earth, how are we gonna know how the pressure's working down there? Have no clue. How do we start?
What do you mean? We know it's more pressure down there.
Isn't that the weight of the water above you, though?
We don't need another shape to know this experiment. To test it
Exactly.
out.
What are you talking about,
he's,
buddy?
he's asking how. He's asking how.
Flat is not a
How
shape.
will we know the how?
Flat is not a shape. Quiet, Ed.
Shut up,
It's
Dom.
also correct. Ed is correct. Flat isn't a shape. Flat is an aspect of almost every shape.
Sure.
What does that mean?
That's a really interesting test or observation, Jimbo. I appreciate that.
All right.
I might try that out.
I want to follow up with the I can't remember what somebody said, but maybe think about water boiling. Okay, so vacuums and water boiling. Okay, so we all know, I think, right? Anybody can say, "Oh, I don't know anything about that, Travis." If I have a glass of water and I leave it sit out, and it's just at ambient temperature in the room, very often there are air bubbles that form inside the glass in the water. Has anybody ever experienced that?
Yes, and it's very cool.
Okay. Now, that water is not boiling, and yet an air bubble is forming inside the water. So something is happening inside that is able to produce gas from the water. Now, I have to be honest, and I know that I'm going to open myself up for ridicule, but I'm not afraid. I know that we have seen demonstrated that if you put a glass of water in a vacuum, it appears to boil. Now,
no, it actually boils. That's
okay, thank you. Shut up, Ed. Please wait for me. Please wait for me. Please wait for me to finish. I wasn't finished. That was the lead up, okay? Now, as far as I recall in the things that I've seen, I've never seen anybody demonstrate that they've tested the temperature of the water to verify whether or not it's boiling. My point is that when you change, okay, when you shut the fuck up. What the fuck, guys? I'm not even finished. Okay, my point is I'm correlating something where I see in room temperature air forming in a glass of water. I'm saying that if you change the pressure around water, you can draw the air out of it so that it appears as though it's boiling. If you do it fast enough, that gas will come out of the water just like it's carbonated. Do you understand what I'm saying?
The entire thing will evaporate. And as it evaporates, the temperature decreases.
What do you mean the entire thing will evaporate? What do you mean?
If you have a beaker of water and you put it under a vacuum and keep it under the vacuum, it'll evaporate.
Okay, that's a non sequitur then. Okay, that's a non sequitur.
One second. Water freezes.
Hold on.
Water freezes.
Hold on.
Water freezes in a vacuum. Water
Thank
freezes in a vacuum.
Okay, Jim. As far as I understand what you just said to me, that's a non sequitur because I'm suggesting.
It doesn't fucking evaporate.
I'm suggesting.
It's just going high pressure to low pressure. That's it. That's why it freezes.
Okay, I'll stop talking.
But actually, let me ask you a question here, Travis. Well, we got a minute. Esteban Ilabaca, CLP 1000 says, Travis, how could you send data through GPS sats?
I'm not an electrician. I'm not an engineer. I don't know.
Fair answer. Esteban, can you clarify? Do you think that is... Why would that be any different than any other satellite? I mean, yeah, the GPS satellite's not made for that purpose, right? I'm not sure what his point is. Anyway, I also found something interesting. I was looking for the density of water. If it got increased at depth, it does increase the deeper you go. Here, not very much due to the pressure though. Let me read this. Density refers to the amount of mass per unit volume, shout out Jimbo, such as grams per cubic centimeter. The density of fresh water is 1 gram per cubic centimeter at 4 degrees Celsius. But the addition of salt and other dissolved substances increases surface seawater density to between 1.02 and 1.03. So slight increase. The density of seawater can be increased by reducing its temperature, increasing its salinity, or increasing the pressure. Pressure has the least impact on density as water is fairly incompressible, so pressure effects are not very significant except at extreme depths. However, If not for the slight compression of water due to pressure, sea level would be approximately 50 meters higher than it is today. Right.
What? 50 meters higher? If it,
yeah.
beg his pardon? That's quite the claim.
Right.
I stand corrected then. I stand corrected.
Well, I mean, it does say it's fairly incompressible, but it does somewhat, it says.
Well, I was still wrong, so fair enough.
So you can change the density of water by changing the air pressure.
I don't know about that part. I guess so.
That's what I just got from what you just read.
Very minimally.
Very minimally. Because look, if you look at this chart, I should be sharing it in the Discord. It's like, yeah, this is the big curve is due to the salinity and the temperature, and then it just increases ever so slightly. It's still around 1.03, all the way down to 2,500 meters. So it's not very much.
So this is something that I noticed when I was flying over the Midwest and going into Las Vegas, that the ground, if you guys haven't seen my video, it's pretty amazing, but the ground looked like the floor of the ocean. There were so many contours and crevices and trenches that it looked exactly like it does when you look the ocean near the shoreline. Okay,
odds are good it was ocean floor before.
Okay, thanks Jim, I'm talking, bro. When I was going through Colorado now at ground level, I'm looking like, fuck, that looks exactly like an island. And that's what I did when I got to a spot where I could Photoshop. I took the picture and then I overlaid and changed the opacity of the water, and I covered it up, and it looked exactly like an island. So if, as Jimbo said, it probably was, where the fuck did the water go? Because that's like a 1/4 mile high.
Well,
that's a lot of fucking water.
Is there anywhere I can see this, Jimbo? This pressure change above the water with something moving?
I can probably find something in a few minutes searching. And just to know too, like up on Mount Royal, you go way up on the mountain there. In the stratus, there's nothing but seashells, little scallop shells, snails. All that was at some point, well, underwater. And that's hundreds of feet in the air. Surrounded by a big plane.
Well, if you find something, let me know. I'd love to see this.
Something changing from pressure above.
If you ever find something, let me know. I'd love to see this. Seriously.
Yeah, that would be pretty interesting, to be honest with you. Mark Collard has a comment. He says, incompressible does not mean cannot be compressed. It can only be minimally compressed, and it takes tremendous pressure to do a minimal amount of compression. So evidently when they say incompressible, they don't literally mean incompressible.
They never literally mean what they say. When they say parallel light rays, they don't literally mean parallel light rays. They never, it's never literal with these motherfuckers.
Well, they got to leave them an escape route, you know?
How much do they deviate?
It's all relative with the globers.
What's that?
Yo, if anyone can find a video, if anyone
with the globers, they just all seem to be relative.
Yeah, it's all relative.
If anyone can find a video where you're if anyone can find a video where they're changing the air pressure and making an object go up and down in the water, I'd love to see that. DM it to me. Thank you.
Yeah, but if you're changing the air pressure,
Oh, Brian, your mic's really low. You're really low.
yeah, but there's one more. Okay, you're making the air denser by adding pressure.
Yeah, but the thing's in the water going up and down, so it's not really the air.
Relative.
Yeah, but if the thing's going up and down in the water, who cares what the air is doing above it?
What's
if you're not changing the density of the...
You're just creating a vortex like, basically, really.
A vortex now?
Well, if you have, say you use a vacuum, right? And see if you can stick it from the right side.
Make a little vessel, apply a little vacuum to it with an egg and salt water, and try to demonstrate it in the next couple of minutes.
Hey,
Cool.
Brandon, just in case, if you want to zip to about the middle of the video, that it's going to get to the place where I'm talking about.
Bro, what the fuck? What vortex? Why did you bring vortex up?
So if I get a big, like if I get a big old bowl, right, and I put the egg in there, right, and I start sucking the water from the right side or left side, whatever, from the edge, and if I can get that water to flow, it'll eventually cause that egg to rise up, wouldn't it?
Yeah, we're not talking about moving the water though. This is just changing the air pressure above it.
We're talking about like the suction pressure is going to create a vortex?
He's just talking about changing the air pressure above the water. We're not sucking
That
water.
is a change of air pressure, isn't it? If I'm sucking it.
No.
No, you need to just change the air pressure and show that the egg moved and it stayed in another spot. I don't think a vortex is going to really help.
How would you even do
He's
that?
talking about the motion of the air while it's being pressurized. That's the vortex he's talking about.
It needs to stay. The egg needs to stay there though afterwards. It can't just go back to where it was originally because that doesn't do anything. And with relative density, we make it go wherever we want. With this
there's
air
no
pressure
doubt that the
thing.
egg will go back down. There's no doubt it will go back down.
Yeah, that's what I mean with this air. If you change the air pressure or make a vortex or whatever the fuck, and then it goes back when you're done, it doesn't really do anything. You're just moving the water around or whatever, and it's not. I can make the egg go wherever I want to if I'm going to move the water around, sure.
That's the only way. That's the only thing I can see what Jimbo's like. It's moving the water.
If he can demonstrate it for us, that'd be dope. I mean, this relative density thing is legit natural science. We have a fucking natural observed phenomenon. We have a hypothesis, and we have validated our alternate hypothesis. So this is the one piece of, like we might have other science. This is one of our great pieces of science that flat Earth has.
Right, but I was just going to the extreme. Like what he's saying, I'm trying to make it where what he's saying to make it make sense to the extreme of air pressure. Like, you get what I'm getting at?
I don't see how changing air pressure is going to make the egg move, but maybe.
Would it change the density of the water?
Minimally, if you change the air pressure a lot, I guess, if it's not that compressible, but.
Right.
What are you going to do? Suck the air out of the top of the water, or are you going to push more air in?
I'm going to do it both. I'll do both variables. Just see.
You suck the water out and make a vacuum, there ain't going to be no water, doesn't it? I don't know.
I think you have to do it when you get the egg into a neutral buoyant position. You know what I mean? So that the egg is in the middle of the water. I don't know if they're naturally like that. Where do eggs? No, eggs naturally float, right?
No, they sink.
Oh, they sink.
Jimbo, yeah, they sink.
I mean, if water freezes on a vacuum, the egg will probably just freeze along with the water.
Water doesn't freeze in a vacuum.
That was what somebody said earlier.
No,
about water freezing and.
Can I just get the answer to this egg thing before I go absolutely mad?
Boy. Here we go. We got rumpus.
Right, the answer to the egg thing is it will do that because the egg has effectively got a little air bladder in it, which means that when you increase the pressure, the size of the little air bladder in the egg becomes smaller. That increases its density, so it will go down. That's why increasing the pressure on the water will cause the egg to sink.
How does that impact the air bladder in the egg, Rumpus?
Because the pressure of the water, because the egg is porous, the pressure outside the egg gets into the egg, that pressures the bladder inside the egg, which makes it smaller.
The air goes through the water, through the shell into the egg?
Oh my God, listen. The
water goes into the egg, Brandon. The water goes into the egg.
Yes.
Oh, the water's in the egg.
Yes. Oh, no way, man.
Oh,
no, you're saying the water will press against the egg. You're saying the water
the egg
press.
is porous.
I was making shit up there.
Hold on.
Well, you were right.
This is a little parlor trick. Hold on.
God.
So this is a little parlor trick. Can you make an anvil float in mercury by changing the pressure on top of the mercury, or make it sink or whatever?
No, because there's no air bladder involved.
So this is just a trick with the egg and the water getting into it. Okay.
This is because the egg has an air bladder in it, which can change in size. So when you increase the pressure of the water, the egg is porous.
Yeah.
And therefore, that changes the size of the air bladder, makes it more dense because it shrinks, and therefore the egg becomes more dense, and therefore it will sink.
So we
it's
should
the same
see
trick.
that.
I don't know if you ever used to have these little diving, these pens with little diving people.
So hold on. So the egg is in the water. The egg is in the water, and you let's say you add more water on or more air on top of the water. That air somehow gets through the water, through the eggshell.
Brandon, you've taken some stupid pills. Let me explain it again.
It's not making any sense how you're explaining it. I'm sorry.
No, because you're stupid. Let me bloody explain it.
Or maybe you're doing a shit job of explaining it,
No, I'm not.
Rumpus.
You've got a shit brain. So, I'll do it again. You increase the pressure of the air, which increases the pressure of on the water, which means the pressure inside the water increases throughout the body of the water. The density doesn't change, but you've changed the pressure. The pressure of the water gets through the porous egg, which then presses on the air bladder in the egg, which means the air bladder gets smaller and increases its density. Jesus Christ. We spent an hour talking about this.
Chill the fuck out, man.
Done.
God. Yeah, well, I've got a headache, so I'm in a bad mood.
Hold on. So we're changing the density.
Calm down, Rumpus.
So we're changing the density of the egg, essentially.
Yes.
So this is relative
no, just
density.
the medium.
So when Rumpus
No,
you're
just changing the medium around the egg. You're not changing the egg itself.
So when
you're changing the size of the bladder in the egg, you're changing the density of the egg.
All right, we heard you. Shut the fuck up. So basically, when Jimbo shows us this, he's changing the density of the egg, basically showing us Shut the fuck up.
You keep on repeating what I've been saying.
Oh
you keep cutting him off. You know, Jeremy's got a whole process. He's got to get it all out from start to finish without being interrupted.
I've got a headache.
Listen to me. Listen to me, Rumpus. Shut the fuck up. You hear me talking?
Go on, man.
God damn.
He can't stop. He can't stop.
I've got a headache.
All right. All right. Well, just chill out, man. All right. So this is pretty kind of, I'm incredulous of what you're saying here. How do you support this, that this change in the size of the air bladder in the egg is what causes it to change in density? That's what you said, right?
By definition, there's more water inside the egg than there is before.
You can add pressure to water, you just can't compress it, but you can still, water is you can add pressure to it.
The bladder reduces in size, which means there's more water in the egg than there was before. The amount of air in there has become smaller.
So there is water that goes through the shell of the egg.
Yes,
okay.
I've said that 5 times.
No, you're mixing words up because you told me the pressure goes through the egg.
I said the egg is porous.
That's what I'm trying to clarify. I'm trying to clarify. See, when people don't understand something, they ask clarifying questions to make sure they have an understanding. That's what people do. Right. That's how people communicate.
You're not changing the mass of the egg at all. You're just changing the medium that's around it, the pressure.
No, you are changing the constituency of the egg. It's got less air in it, or the air in it's compressed, which means it's got more water in it than it had before. Therefore, its density goes up.
You're not changing the density. You're not changing the density of the egg, dude.
You are changing the density, but water has flowed in.
Changing the medium,
it's compressed the bladder, which means that the overall density of the egg has gone up in mass, and it's therefore increased in density.
No, it didn't. No, it didn't, Rumpus.
My God, this is so simple.
It did not change its mass.
Water has displaced the air. Therefore, it's more massive and more has a greater weight. It's really simple.
You're wrong about that, Rumpus.
You're changing the medium. That's all. You're just changing
You're changing the air in there to be smaller, and you've got more water in it than you had before. Therefore, it's denser.
Percentage. What do you think here? Why did you say that Rumpus is full of shit? What are we missing here? What's the trick here? Percentage.
Well, I mean, I just hopped in, but from what I get, he's talking about increasing the air pressure, which would weigh down onto the water, which would cause all of the water to have a higher density, right? A higher pressure. And
no, the density is the same. That includes different.
The egg isn't though.
Yeah, you have forced some water into the egg, therefore the egg is denser than it was previously.
Well, the fact that the pressure is higher shows that you're trying to compress basically the water a little bit, right? That means you're trying to reduce the volume, thereby increasing the density.
You're not trying to do anything. You're just increasing the pressure, and that pressure will be communicated to the bladder inside the egg.
I know, but my point is the fact that the pressure is increasing means that there's more pressure to on the volume. There's more pressure on the volume to reduce the volume which increases the density.
Yes, it reduces the size of the bladder because water's flown in, and because there's extra pressure, it's reduced the size of the bladder, which means there's more water in the egg than there was previously, which means its density is
more water in the egg.
Was anybody aware that water could go through an eggshell?
Right. Here we go. Do you understand?
Does that seem odd to anybody else that water can go through an eggshell?
Air can go through it. Do you know how things in eggs breathe? Do you know how things in eggs breathe?
Hello, people.
Hello. Do you understand that air goes through an eggshell? It has to enable you to breathe, and therefore water can do the same thing. Water molecules are actually smaller than oxygen molecules.
Okay, all right.
So you can have a flow of water through the eggshell as much as you can have air.
Got it.
And you have to accept that air can get through, otherwise
Got it.
So therefore,
Jimbo,
air can go through. It's porous.
God damn it.
Well, why am I having to fight to make that point?
No, you're not. You're all excited. Go ahead, Jimbo.
I'm going to remove the air bubble by poking a little hole in the big end of the egg where that air pocket is and breaking that membrane and allowing water to fill that airspace. That satisfy your little heart?
Why would you do that?
That's the only way you can allow water in.
Jimbo, how about you just don't use an egg when you do this?
I have to wait for the glue to dry anyway, so it might only be tomorrow.
How about don't poke a hole in the egg? Don't poke a hole in the egg.
Put a raincoat on the egg so the water can't get in.
With a hole and one without. You want to see the experiment with a balloon?
The rumpus was right, though. Eggshell is made almost entirely of calcium carbonate crystals. It is semi-permeable membrane, which means that air and moisture can pass through the pores.
Exactly.
Okay, thank you. I wasn't questioning whether it was true or not. I was just asking a question, guys. I don't know shit about eggs. All right, that's pretty interesting. Thank you for that clarification. So I will await the results of Jimbo's experiment. Let me read a couple super chats here. Gadget Inspector, €5. Did you hear that Bill Gates said the global warming is going to kill more people than COVID? They have another agenda coming. There's always another agenda coming, brother. Thank you very much. C4, $2. Excellent show, everyone. Smiley face. Thanks, C4. Appreciate that. We have been talking about eggs for a while, but it is interesting.
I posted a video in the chat. You might want to see it.
Quiet, Ed.
Shut up, Don.
All right, what's this, Ed? What's this video you posted here?
As long as there's no exaggeration.
The guy puts a helium balloon in water, and then he puts the whole thing in a vacuum chamber. It's pretty short. He does it right at the beginning. It's like 30 seconds.
No, a balloon is definitely permeable, right?
Right. So here's the thing. All they're doing is just changing the medium around it. How is it increasing?
A balloon is not permeable. Permeable means air and water can go through it, right?
But helium balloons lose, and balloons lose air all the time, right?
Yeah, I mean, and at that, I mean, if you're speaking like that, then everything's semi-permeable
yeah, I guess so.
To a certain extent. But no, plastic and rubber are very, very lightly. I mean, they're not very permeable at all. The balloons are not very permeable at all. But if you want to get technical, everything is semi-permeable because something could pass through it, hydrogen, whatever.
Right.
Everything sweats a little bit.
Yeah, but
well, this is pretty dramatic here.
It's all relative. Everything we've discussed has been relative to something else, and
yeah, right.
Every single person has described something relative to something else, and that would be the point of flat Earth. It's not just a downward force causing all this shit with a separate equation for buoyancy. I'd like somebody to help me like come up with an equation like opposite of buoyancy, but it'd be so complicated, man. I see why they made everything the way they did. It's just it's so much easier, man.
Hey, does that balloon drop when they pressurize that, or what happens?
He's gonna use weights at the end
Sleeping
of the
Warrior
video.
gave me the Sleeping Warrior gave me the math for relative density equation this morning.
Can I just correct some misimpression you managed to gather in the few seconds I went away about the balloon? The balloon is not permeable, but the point is the water's pressing on it. The point about the egg being permeable is that the pressure of the water can get at the bladder. So that balloon is acting like the bladder. So providing the pressure of the water can get at the balloon or the bladder, it will get smaller. So that you can think of the egg being around that as being permeable. Once you can get at the bladder, you don't need to worry about permeability. The pressure of the air goes onto the water pressure goes onto the balloon gets smaller because it's got higher pressure.
So an egg is more permeable than a balloon.
Yes.
Okay.
He's gonna put some weights on the balloon near the end of the video.
Wow, he just came in here to say that to dip back up.
If you use, instead of a balloon or an egg, a ping pong ball, drill a small hole in it, fill it with water, seal it, and then use that filled plastic ping pong ball where no air can get in or out, and do it, then, you're somewhere. But they're probably right. An egg is not the best thing to use, and nor is a balloon.
Yeah, you use something that's not that's going to be definitive, will you, Jim?
Well, no, take an egg and fiberglass
filled with water and sealed,
or seal an egg
solution, and that'll resolve the egg issue and the balloon issue.
Do they make something specific for this purpose, like some buoyancy, like balls or something? Do they make something like that?
You have all kinds of them, like for your in your car when you do your radiator. Usually it's 50% glycol, 50% water. There's mixes, and you use a little bead thing that has little floaties in it. You suck up some of the fluid from your radiator.
Oh yeah,
and tells you whether you need some antifreeze and stuff.
Just waterproof the egg, man.
Alcohol, you have a kind of a density meter, if you want to call it that, with little beads that float to tell you the concentration of alcohol. They call it specific gravity.
Why not just go extreme and just put the egg inside the balloon?
Look, man, if there was water going inside the egg, then the yolk would come out, man. Everything is semi-permeable to a certain extent.
But the eggs explode outwardly; they crack.
We could waterproof an egg easily, man.
And
see that, Brendan?
Enough stress, they crack. Fail.
Yeah, it lifts up the thing now that the air pressure is gone.
Shit, that is crazy.
And
eggs do not soak up water. Right? That's bullshit.
That's a sealed container, right? Like the water jar?
It's a vacuum chamber. And
I know, but is the jar itself sealed also?
No, because the experiment was to check if the air pressure had something to do, had effect on the balloon or not. And it obviously has.
How much weight was that?
Water. I'm not sure he says how much it is.
Oh, okay.
But it can keep the balloon down when all the air is there, but when he turns on the pump, it lifts up.
It's the same amount of air in the balloon. It's just expanding, right?
Yeah.
Wow, that's weird. So it must be relieving pressure from the water. That it has to be relieving pressure on the water, then, right?
Yeah, he took the air out.
Yeah.
So that means the air is pressing on the water.
Can I make a comment real quick?
Temperature, by the way, of the water. Did he take it in the video?
The temperature? No,
yeah.
I don't think so.
That would have been a good one.
I'd like to make a point, man.
As long as you apply the vacuum and it's evaporating, the temperature decreases.
It's still relative, man. We could change the electrostatic potential. We could make the water. We could. I'm making a point. I'm not a fan of that. I'm just making a point. Listen, we could lower the temperature of the water and make a difference. We can add salt. We can add pressure. These are all relative, man. None of it's gravity, dude.
I have a different theory.
Not relative. If you reduce the pressure on water, you reduce its boiling point. You cause evaporation and cooling.
I have a different theory of why that happens.
Colder water would have the opposite effect of what you see.
I think what's going on is, as you pump air out, the balloon increases in size. Therefore, it creates more buoyancy.
What?
You changing the
What you
density of the balloon.
We don't use buoyancy on this channel. We don't use buoyancy on this channel. Everything.
He's right. He's right though. Yeah, that makes sense to me. So
He is, but that's still relative, man. They just take away the relative part to everything going down is all to describe buoyancy.
Why does
Under
the
the
balloon
water.
increase in size then?
Under the
Silent
water.
Zero?
So nothing changes with the water
It's
in the
increasing
balloon.
the balloon is changing. It's increasing
Why?
in size.
Why?
What do you mean? Why?
Why does the
The
balloon
density of
increase
the-
in size?
Why?
Because you're extracting all the air.
Could it be
Yeah,
the temperature
exactly.
of the water?
But the balloon is inside the water.
Hold on, and the air inside the balloon is trying to fill that volume available.
It's
That's why
not there though.
increases
It's
in
not in
size.
contact. It's
But it's in
separate
the
from
water.
yeah,
It doesn't
It's
really.
underwater.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't
Yes, it
matter.
does.
That's what it
Yeah,
does.
No, it's all
Why?
about pressure.
well, no,
You
that's
see
my
it with your
question
own
too.
eyes.
Silent Zero. I have a question about that too, because how does the air in the balloon, how does it get communicated, that lower pressure outside of the water get communicated to the air that's in the balloon inside the water?
It's really simple. What is the balloon? The balloon is containing air that is already pushing out. That's why you see it inflate.
Why?
Okay.
Well,
I
with the
understand
air
that,
outside, and when you're inflating a balloon, there's pressure outside. When you're inflating a balloon, you're building an equilibrium between that balloon and the air outside. And when you put it in a vacuum and you start pumping air out, you're creating more space available for that balloon to seek equilibrium. Therefore, it's gonna keep trying to expand.
But it's in the water, and
It's really
the water
simple.
hasn't. The
in the
water
water.
hasn't changed in volume.
The flexibility of the
Right?
skin of the balloon is what allows.
Yeah, you're right, Brandon.
Let me see.
So the
The
balloon.
vacuum affect the water while it's pressure. Does it change the temperature at all?
It reduces the boiling point and allows.
What would happen? What would happen if the water got colder? What would happen to the air in the balloon if the water got colder?
And the air in the balloon would
So the change in
shrink.
the
It would
heat
shrink if it
or
got
the
colder, right?
Exactly.
balloon.
And what?
Yes.
Yeah, but the jar.
Yes, Brandon.
No,
The
it
water
gets
is gonna
bigger.
be affected also by the vacuum, though. What?
Of
Yeah,
course,
so
that's
it
what I'm
gets
saying.
colder.
Is the temperature
How is
of
water
the
affected
vacuum,
by the vacuum?
the air?
It gets colder. Yes.
Surface tension and allows for more evaporation faster.
Look, the
Or
volume of the
cool it down,
water
which will
doesn't
cause the
change.
water to shrink. And the volume actually, increases actually because there's a.
It's being sucked out. So in your chamber,
the
as you
change,
suck out the air,
cause to the change.
you're sucking out the water with it.
Damn, I would have loved if he would have had the temperature of the water and the temperature of the balloon.
Well, this is easy
Well,
enough
I
to
posted in the back channel all of the stuff that you need for
Almost no
evaporation
effect.
under reduced
It's not-
pressure.
It's not about the.
It's
You
all
guys,
from
you guys can try to dick dance your way and
There's
say it's the
all kinds
temperature of the water.
about exactly what happens when you reduce the pressure on the surface of a liquid. That's why we can make
What's
nice
a
sugar.
dick dance?
Guys, remember the explanations or what we're doing right now. It's where we fall into mistakes. That thinking that we know what is happening on those effects that we see. This is what happened with the guy who came up with the idea on gravity and all this stuff. It's just
Well,
like
it's really easy. The air pressure disappears.
It doesn't really mean that
that
it is.
We're just trying to explain reality like everybody else.
What's up, Lemon?
Hey, hold on, guys. Just let me ask another question because I don't think we've really answered this question. How does the balloon submerged in the water that doesn't change volume, how does that lower pressure outside of the water inside the chamber get communicated to the balloon so that the balloon the air increases in volume in the balloon?
It's really simple, Brandon. Is the jar open? It is, right? I'm guessing.
The jar's open, yeah.
All right. Then the vacuum is communicating with the water. Is doing something to the water. What do you mean how? You know vacuum. You know water. It will turn into ice
taking the pressure.
with the vacuum,
The
right?
only way I can explain it to myself
Water
is that
does
the
not
air,
turn into
the
ice
air
on
already
vacuum.
inside the balloon
Guys,
is
let
getting
Silent
denser.
Zero get his explanation out, and then we'll will respond. He didn't even get
You
it
know
out.
that. Yeah, you know that water turns into ice when you put it in a vacuum, right?
No.
No. What do you mean no?
No, that's not what fucking happened.
What is boiling? What is boiling?
Yeah,
not
boiling.
turning into ice.
It's
What
a state of
happened-
water turning into a different state. That's what boil
You
means.
tell me when I boil water, it's turning into ice?
Do you know what happens to water? Have you ever been to altitude? I mean, like
he's 100% right. It turns into ice.
Hold on, guys. Whoever is saying that water doesn't turn into ice when you put it in a vacuum, you're just simply ignorant. You need to research
it doesn't
this.
turn to ice.
It does turn
It changes
into
to ice.
Look at him. He's put it in the vacuum chamber here. I don't see it change to ice.
That's what you would expect if the vacuum was cold, but when you put stuff like blood and water in a vacuum, it tends to or rather become this gaseous thing. I was going to say evaporate. Well, I guess it would evaporate and boil off, but boil implies heat. There's no heat in the vacuum, yet it appears to be boiling off with blood, liquids, and stuff like that.
No,
Brandon, this is why I've been asking for temperature
freezes in a
earlier,
vacuum.
because if this is a temperature change, the only thing that could explain this is that the air already inside the balloon is getting denser, making the balloon.
No,
incorrect.
Matrix. Look in the chat.
No,
that's not
totally
it.
incorrect. It's getting less dense. That's
What
why
do
it
you mean?
expands.
So it's
let me
boiling.
explain
So
what's
you're
happening.
saying it's not getting hot?
No, it can boil. Have you been to altitude? Do you know that water changes? That water boils at different temperatures depending on your altitude. That the higher you go, the lower the water
So
temperature to boil.
Did you
Let me
test that
explain
water?
Let me explain what's happening in this video.
Okay, go ahead.
How
Let
many
me hear
band-aids
this.
you need? 2? Okay, he's creating a vacuum. It's changing the pressure on the water. Therefore, does the balloon change in size?
Yes.
Yes, the density of the balloon is changing.
I'm going crazy.
This
mass,
is relative. This is relative density right here. That's all this is.
We know that's changing. I think we got the answer.
Somebody in the chat has a good question about is it helium or air that he's using?
Hold on, we got an answer from chat. Let me read it. Critical YM says the balloon inflates because the water has its pressure decreased, so the air pressure inside the balloon has less resistance from the water.
Right.
Can I give the actual
That's
answer?
exactly what I just said.
Right, I'm going to give the actual answer.
Let Rumpus give the actual answer,
Which
then I'll
I've
give the
given
actual
about three
answer.
times now, and it's absolutely doing my
All
head
right,
in.
percentage. Get the actual percentage answer.
Right. The pressure, the size
goes
of the balloon,
Rumpus.
the volume of the balloon is dependent on the pressure of the water. If the pressure of the water was 0, the balloon would expand enormously. But the pressure in the water is dependent on the pressure of the air above it. Just like if you hit a rod, I mean, Brandon was talking earlier about the fact that the volume of the water doesn't change, and therefore he doesn't understand how the pressure on the balloon can change. Well, that's like saying if you hit something with a hammer, a nail, that the pressure at the end of the nail can't change because it hasn't changed in volume. The pressure at the top of the water, the pressure exerted by the air on the top of the water, is communicated just in the same way as hammering a nail to the other parts of the water. Let me finish.
Is the density
And so
of the balloon
pressure on the
changing?
balloon increases if you increase the pressure of the water, and
right, is
therefore,
the
as the
density-
pressure of the water is increased, it makes the balloon go small. And if you decrease the pressure of the air, that means the pressure of the water will be less, which means the pressure on the balloon will be less. Therefore, it will expand.
Okay.
All right,
Jesus
is the density
Christ.
of the
That's what I said,
is the
Brandon.
density-
I told
Hold on
you.
a second. Is the density of the balloon changing?
Yes.
How is it
This
though?
is fucking
It's still the
relative
same amount,
density.
man.
Because you made
What do you mean?
No,
What
it's
is
not
it?
relative density.
This is relative.
What do you mean?
No,
What
it's not relative density.
I explain
The
how
density
the
of the
balloon.
balloon
Hold
is
on,
changing.
hold on.
What do you mean it's
Relative
not
density
relative?
and entropy.
As the balloon
But it
expands,
doesn't lose its
water
matter.
goes up in the
It
jar.
doesn't gain or lose matter.
Hello, as the balloon expands, the water in that jar is going up and up and up and up. Up to Daisium. It's climbing to the top. Take a
Can
good
I
look.
say something?
As the balloon expands, the water in the rest of the jar moves up towards the rim. It's displacing the water by its
Let me explain to you how is the density. As the balloon has the same amount of air inside, as the volume increase, that air it's less dense.
It pushes
because
the
it's more
water
expensive.
outside
Hold
the
on,
balloon
I
away
was in
and
the
the
middle of
water
something,
pushes hard.
Jimbo. My God, with this guy, doesn't let nobody speak, bro.
Go ahead, Silent Zero.
I was explaining how the balloon becomes less denser, therefore it goes up. It's really simple to understand.
If it became less
the air doesn't change, the volume it does. So there's more space between the air, molecules of air, therefore it's less denser.
Yeah, makes sense.
The volume increased with the same amount of air.
Relative,
Yep.
This is relative.
It's relative density. Yes.
Yeah, well, I see the density, yes.
Relative density is
for like
not
5 minutes.
a
Force
or
for like 5
anything.
minutes. This is relative density right here.
It displaces the water, and the water goes upward. If the balloon expanded enough, the water would spill out of that jar.
Yeah, the density of the balloon changes and makes the thing go up.
volume. Well, yeah, density too. Yes, in a
It's
sense.
relative
yes.
density, Jimbo.
No, you
Yes,
were
it
okay.
is.
No, relative density is just a number. It doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, listen, not in the sense that you guys.
The pressure of water in the air.
Yeah,
It's
that's what you're doing.
So it's entropy. It's
It's
relative
all
density.
relative, man. Period. They can say whatever they want.
No,
It's all
it's not
relative.
relative density. That's just a number.
You're not
It
gonna
doesn't
break
mean
the.
anything.
Yeah, it
You're
does
not gonna
make
break
sense
the
of
rules of
entropy.
relative density. You're never gonna
No,
break that rule.
the changing of the pressure is caused by entropy.
volume.
The
Yeah, it's high
water
pressure,
or
low
the
pressure.
air.
So, yeah.
So
It's caused by
a
entropy.
percentage. You said that you were going to give the real explanation after Rumpus gave his explanation. Do you still have it?
Yeah. So I think the way to understand this is you have to understand what he's doing. So first you have this system, right? The system that has air in it. And he turns on the vacuum, and that vacuum is actively kicking out this air, right? It's creating like a vacuum, basically, where that air was. So you're reducing that volume. You're constantly reducing that volume. And the system that remains is going to be super dense with a lot of this unused space, basically, right? And because of that, it's trying to equalize. It's trying to find equilibrium. Now you have to keep in mind that in normal conditions, water is incompressible fluid. So there's not going to be much change in the water. But the air inside, that gas, the gas inside the balloon, that's definitely going to expand to try to, account for this now super dense state that it's in, right? Because there's all this the volume that it can expand to, because the vacuum is relatively sealed. There's the lid there, and the vacuum's actively pushing out this air, and so that air inside the balloon is going to expand. It doesn't matter that it's in water, because there's air in there that you have to consider it as like one system, because again, that vacuum chamber is in a room, right? It's in a room with the regular amount of pressure in that room. So because this system right here that is so much more dense, because you kicked out all of the air, is in a room with regular air pressure, it's trying to find equilibrium. The gas inside there is trying to find equilibrium, and it's going to expand.
Percentage.
So if you're going to take that entire vacuum chamber with everything inside and put it somewhere else, put it in a more like in a super dense room or something, for example, then it's not going to expand like that, because again, it's trying to equalize that closed system to the room that it's in.
That wasn't
Percentage.
horrible.
Would you say this is relative density?
100%.
It's not.
Yeah.
Though.
Relative
You're close.
density is just.
You're
I
close.
agree with him, man. I agree.
You were close.
Everything
No,
is,
percentage was actually
works
not
on
bad.
equilibrium.
Percentage wasn't bad. He's just that his basic concept is wrong. You don't, when you pump the air out of the chamber, you do nothing to the density of the water and the. Sorry.
I said that the water is incompressible. So
No,
you said
there's more density because you take
You said
out the
about some
air.
super dense system.
You have no idea what you're talking about.
He's close. Actually close. If he was not as.
Don't mean we can't put pressure on it.
Because you're kicking out all of that air that was in that vacuum chamber, you're causing that system way more dense.
And
you're reducing the volume, causing it to be way more dense.
Yes, of course.
That weight on the water is relieved. You're correct, and therefore the air in the balloon.
If you had a scale with that vacuum chamber on it, and you showed like basically like the weight of the thing.
Oh, how does air have weight? I thought air didn't have weight. I thought air didn't have weight. Oh, I thought air didn't have weight. I'm sorry. I must be on the wrong.
It has weight. Bye-bye gravity. Bye-bye gravity. Bye-bye gravity.
It does. That's the reason things have weight, is because of gravity.
Yep, and things go up. So how do you control the variable of gases having statics? Static charge.
Oh, no, don't talk to me about
buoyancy.
statics.
Let's go with buoyancy. You can't just run the buoyancy all the time. When
you can buoyancy, exactly. You understood buoyancy.
It's not buoyancy. When they're
It is
rising
buoyancy.
up. when they're rising straight up
But
from
they
me.
don't go up
Buoyancy.
forever.
Buoyancy.
Buoyant.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's. Yeah, you guys are just trying to redefine something.
No, that's actually
you're
what
trying
it
to
is.
redefine something.
It's observation hijacking, really.
No.
No, not really.
Yeah.
Did
Yeah,
you
really.
did you see the gas go
Relative-
up forever?
Relative
you
It
didn't.
goes up and sets in its equilibrium.
But it
because of
doesn't
relative
go up
density.
forever.
No,
Relative
it doesn't. But
density
they
has
have a
been
static
totally-
charge, though. That too, as well.
No, it's
That's
because
Relative
of
density was
buoyancy.
totally scientifically disproven by AB Science. Now you guys can watch it. It's a lot of math.
Oh, that's nonsense. That video. That was absolute nonsense.
Totally.
Joe.
I know you think it's nonsense because it's math. You know.
No, because he built up a straw man and then destroyed.
No, he didn't
destroyed
really.
the straw man.
He
He
actually,
did.
that's how you do scientifically disprove stuff.
What's the unit of power in relative density?
Relative density.
Yeah, where's the vector in relative
Jeremy,
density?
what's the unit of power in relative density?
What's the unit? What's unit of measure in relative
Density
density,
has
Jeremy?
All right, listen. I'm gonna start muting the Globers because you guys are fucking worthless. All right, shut the
Yeah, you're
fuck
not
up.
answering the
Relative
question,
density has a
actually, Jeremy.
hypothesis. Relative density has a hypothesis that's valid. It has a natural observed phenomena, and we validated our alternate.
No.
Yeah, cool story, bro. What's the unit of power in relative density?
Where's the vector?
What vector?
The vector, the downward vector that we can observe.
Yeah, we cause it by changing the one of the densities of the medium or
But
the
there's no
object.
vector. There's no
Yeah, there is.
vector.
There's no bias on the vector on relative density. It all depends on the word says it. Relative density of the medium.
Well, then how do you explain
on
the
which the
acceleration? The 9.8.
I just told you, static.
Because things don't fucking float in the middle of the air. That's why they have to go somewhere.
It's not statics, because if it was statics, then positively charged particles would float, or negatively charged particles would float. They don't.
Listen,
they all fall at the same rate.
That's electricity, by the way, not relative density. So why are you changing it?
You
guys care if I
we already
ask a
know that you
question?
don't know shit about science.
I know a lot
you
about
tried
science.
to
You
use
don't
a
know about
fucking-
science.
I got
You
a
tried to
challenge.
use an independent variable that didn't even exist.
Well, you don't know
I got
about
a
science.
challenge for all these
You
people
don't know
who-
about science. You're a QE clone, and you.
Percentage. I got a challenge for all the Globers. Okay, let's just start from scratch and have everything just where it is in nature. Make something move without touching it. Okay, using your gravity. Okay, and I'll make something move 3-4 different ways using relative density, up and down. But you got to lift something up in the air. You got to start with a force to get something off the ground to try and prove gravity or relative density. We could move things up and down, and everything follows the rules of relative density, man. Whether you want to invoke gravity or not, they're still going to follow the rules of relative density. Everything is going to seek equilibrium. Period.
How do you
Yeah,
explain the
it's
9.8
kind of a
meters per
non-starter,
second per
man.
second? How do you explain the 9.8 meters per second per second?
Get out
Taking
of
something out
here,
of
that
equilibrium,
man.
ain't you?
Get out of
Ain't
there.
you taking something out of equilibrium? You're having to put a
9
Well,
meters
hold
per
on.
second per
The-
second
the-
of a helium balloon. Can
The
you tell me
9.8
what is that?
meters per second square is just the speed under certain conditions in a certain medium, right?
When you do
That's a
medium
specific
change, that's
measurement
our shit.
at sea level for the speed that things fall. Now,
What's
that's
the
not
force
consistent. You've created some math, but the medium has a speed limit. What's your point? Things have to
The
accelerate when
medium change
something moves from A to B. Anytime it always accelerates.
Right. What's the
Yeah,
force
you
unit
Globers
behind
need to
it?
decide whether you're talking about the cause or the effect.
Right. And what's the force unit behind this acceleration, Brandon?
9.8 meters per Brandon. When they make something,
Jeremy,
9.8
stop
meters per
shouting.
second,
Hey,
they just did a
dielectric
relative
acceleration.
density
What is that?
experiment.
It's the law of
Yeah, it's
order.
fake, that's what it
It's
is.
the law of order. We'll call it that. The law of order. Things order themselves on the face of the earth according to their relative density and hardness.
So why is the
Brandon-
atmosphere basically the
Brandon, when they
same
make
throughout its
something fall at
entire?
9.8 meters per second, they've
That
done
was
what
funny.
they've done is they've done a relative density experiment. Jesus
Incorrect.
Christ, man. Fuck.
Yeah, no, it's the truth, because you guys have to understand you're talking about the same exact thing. Until you start talking about the force that's causing it to fall or what have you, That's when you get into the territory of the cause. But until then, you guys are talking about the same thing about the effect, and that's why I said what the gentleman said before about showing something in nature that's doing this. It's a non-starter because we're talking about the same exact thing. Relative density invokes
right, but you're not answering the question.
This agreed upon average, right? You could be more specific. You could be more precise and accurate if you were to actually measure it, depending on what the object is.
You're just saying a lot of words. You're not explaining.
In reality, you guys are all talking about the same thing, the effect, which we all agree upon.
Then what's the force unit?
And our model has just as much predictive power as your model. Period.
There you go. So
now
we're getting into the truth. What's the force behind it? So in terms of relative density, the truth is we don't know. This is just how it's.
What's behind
it was
the
created.
acceleration?
And you don't know
the
either.
Only difference between gravity and relative
electrostatics.
So it's not relative density then, Don.
Yes, relative density plays a part.
But you just said electrostatics.
Electrostatics with friction, relative density, it all plays. It's a bunch of phenomena happening at once, dude.
So
you guys just go to gravity.
What's the force that
relative density? Friction will cause. Well, question.
What's the
friction
units
cause
of
something to
relative
slow down or
density,
speed up?
What's the units of relative density?
Can friction cause something to slow up or speed up? Slow down or speed up?
You're not answering the question, Don.
I'm asking you a question. You're asking me a question with a question.
Make your argument then.
Friction is always going to cause something to slow down.
The argument is that if you want to do a gravity experiment versus a relative density experiment, we're the only ones with relative density that have a valid hypothesis.
But you don't have a force unit.
Correct.
You don't
know what you're talking about.
You don't have a force unit, Jeremy.
The force is the exact. I don't know what you're confusing again.
To
The force units are the
accelerate,
same exact
to
thing.
make things move. Why are things moving then if you don't have a force behind it?
Disequilibrium. Disequilibrium.
Is that a unit? Is that a unit, Brian? Disequilibrium? If things accelerate, is it going to accelerate with 0.5 disequilibrium? Is that it?
Listen, Ed. Sorry, go ahead.
It's easier just to try
Your mic's a little low, Jeremy.
Just go ahead because
Your mic's low, Jeremy. It's low again. I think that's why you're getting drowned out.
While he's sorting that out, I just want to say, Ed, the relative density is the mechanism by which these things are happening, right? The impetus of that is unknown. We don't know what the cause of relative density of downward acceleration of that is. We have no idea.
We do.
No, you don't either. You claim it's mass attracting mass, which is bullshit. You claim it's bending of space-time, which is bullshit.
You claim we don't know.
We don't know. It's never been
that's your claim, but we do know.
All right, am I good now?
See, here's the thing, Ed.
If we were to do an experiment, and you were going to use your space-time gravity, and I was going to use relative density,
then you're only
one of us would hold on a second. Only one of us would have a valid hypothesis.
No, only one of us can explain why things accelerate.
No, you don't have you can't explain anything. You don't even have a
Yes,
valid
I can,
hypothesis.
because you can't explain how things accelerate with relative density.
Look at what I posted.
You don't know what you're talking about, Jeremy.
Jeremy, you can say it louder, but you can't explain why things accelerate.
If you know this so well, why don't you and Q write a paper and get it published for a change? My God.
Again, you guys are talking about the effect. Even Globers, they will agree that the law of buoyancy, or Archimedes' principle, or the law of gravity, all of those things apply. They're just the effect. You could call it relative density, or you could use the word gravity, and in the end, you're still measuring, using the rate at which this agreed upon average of the rate of which things fall.
Why
equation.
Don't heavier things fall faster?
The cause is what's in contention, and the cause has never been proven. We don't know the cause.
We know the cause.
What are you talking
about?
No, we don't know the cause of why.
We know the cause.
Really? We do know the cause of why there's a system of relative density?
No. Why don't heavy things fall faster?
Relative density is just a number. It doesn't mean anything.
I got a question, Ed. All right, you guys say gravity is mass attracting mass. It's any amount of matter. Okay, so gases have matter, right? So can you control the variable of matter containing a static charge? How do you control that variable?
Why are you guys letting them? Why are you letting them get off?
What on earth are you even talking about? You have to first provide evidence that it's these electrostatic whatever combined with relative density that makes things go down. Please
why do positively
prove that.
Things charge?
We already know why things go up or down.
Negatively.
This is not even a guess anymore.
No, you don't.
Yes,
don't.
we do. We have a.
No,
You have
Jeremy,
a
you
fucking
don't.
experiment with a valid hypothesis
What's
and
the
a
vector?
natural observed
It's not a
phenomenon.
valid
Yeah, no,
hypothesis.
Jeremy, you're 100% right. You're 100% right. But run that, like, run up that tree, basically. So you have relative density. What causes relative density to work in the way that it does? Where the more dense things go down, the less dense things go up. Why is there this up-down vector at play? Like, the root of it all, we don't know.
We do
of
know.
course,
we
the
know
mechanism, it's governed by relative density. That's the system that it works in.
No,
but why was
not.
it created in
Relative
such a way?
density is just a number. It doesn't mean anything. Doesn't do anything. There's no force behind it.
Bitch, you believe in relative density with your
no, you can't explain why things
and
move.
your gravity. That's relative density at play.
No, you can't
idiot.
explain why relative density makes things move. It's just
Shout out James Richard, appreciate it. $10. Do you have join membership? Yeah, there's memberships on the homepage in YouTube. You can find them. I think there's a button on there when you go to the Brandon's homepage. Thanks, man.
Correct.
No, you're incorrect.
It's just a number.
No, you're incorrect. Relative density is just a number. It doesn't mean
Has
anything. There's no explanation why
has
things
no
move
vector.
with it.
There's no way to explain the acceleration toward down in the direction we call down using relative density.
Yes, there is.
There absolutely is.
Agreed upon average
Go down
falling
because
down.
they're more dense than.
Why?
Go ahead,
Why do they fall? Why do they go down? Why the bias down?
Because we live in a world where most things are falling down. Most things are more
Why?
dense than the medium that they're in because we're in air, right? If we
Why?
were fucking like
Explain
subterranean
the down
creatures.
bias.
Hold up, if we were like some subterranean creature, right? Not human, some subterranean like creature that was acclimated to the super dense environment, that and whatever we created was less dense, or whatever we observed was less dense, then things would go up. If we lived in like in a pit, this unending pit of osmium, everything would go up. So that's just a preference. That's just the bias that we have because we are humans on terra firma, that we observe things go down more than we see them go up. That's why we thought there was a downward bias. But in reality, if we were if we were way down below and everything was going up, we would think that there was an upward bias.
There's no downward bias.
Give a slightly different answer, which is, I think I understand the question. Why do things go up and down? Why don't they go left or right? Why don't they go diagonal? Why is there this bias to up and down? And here's my answer. It is one of the laws of physics. It's one of the base laws of how the world is ordered. Things go up and down. Otherwise, how would you order things? How would the world be ordered if there wasn't some system like that?
Well, you can wave your hands and invoke some magic.
That's what you guys do. That's what you'll
That's
do.
what
If I
you
ask
guys
you
do.
enough
You're
questions
talking
about
about
your
it.
model of gravity, you'll get there eventually. We just get there a lot sooner because we're not storytellers. We don't need to tell a story about spinning balls speeding through nothingness.
Well, tell a story about relative density.
Yeah, to question the cause of relative density is questioning the cause of like causation and all the other natural laws.
It's just a number. Doesn't mean anything. Doesn't explain why things go down or up.
Disequilibrium, dude. Out for the 10th time.
Yeah, is that a unit? Is that a unit, Brian?
You're a unit.
This is all just a massive shifting of the burden of proof fallacy because they claim it's matter attracting matter.
Is that a force that makes things
show your fucking work, okay? Substantiate your claim.
Is that a force that makes things move then?
What's that?
Mass attracting mass.
No.
You
mass,
can do
how
the
does it
experiment
accelerate?
yourself.
How does it accelerate? If it's mass attracting
try to
mass,
explain to you
how does it speed up?
Mass is a convention. Mass can't attract mass. It's a convention.
That's
Say matter attracts matter.
Cool story. It
Correct.
doesn't explain how relative density makes things move.
Gravity doesn't explain why things speed up.
Yes, it does.
Yeah, it
Things
does.
go up and down.
9.8
Is that
meters
alright
per
if I-
second per second.
No, you can
Is that all
try,
right if I speak
James,
for a
but
second?
James, you can try,
Can
but
I-
you're probably going to get overtalked. But go ahead.
Well, I was just gonna, if you guys have ever looked at the density tower, you could start with those variables already in the tower. And as you pour your liquids in, they're gonna find their equilibrium to the liquid. Right? So things go up and down based off the variable you're measuring and the medium it's in.
Nothing
And things
zero
also
G.
fall.
Cool.
Let me
You ever seen
finish
one of
real
those in
quick.
one of
Things
those in the
also
vomit comet?
fall- Hold on. Things also fall left to right. So you can have a piece of paper, right? It'll fall left to right as it falls down. But if you take the same piece of paper, crumble it up, it's going to fall more in a more straight trajectory, right? So all you did is change the shape of the same variable.
So how
You could
come
take a
gravity? How
pencil-
come?
you could take a pencil and drop it in air. And when you do, you have to notice that it's submerged in air. There's air all the way around it. So do the same experiment in water, right? You submerge it in the water, then you drop it. It goes up. And all you changed was the medium. That's it. That's the cause.
Have you ever seen one of your relative density chamber towers, whatever you call it, in the vomit comet?
You notice that Pate is not following up James's logic right now. He's changing the direction.
No, I'm asking him as the relative density. His
when you're in the vomit
density
comet,
tower
you
in the
change
vomit
the
comet.
medium.
No,
It's not
your medium's the same. You're still in the air.
No, you changed your environment.
Yeah, you change your
the
environment.
totality
Yeah,
of your environment.
but you haven't
Therefore,
changed the
changed
density of the medium. Don't get off it. The density of the medium is still the same. It's still air.
No.
Yeah,
You
it's still air.
changed your. Listen to me real quick. Let me finish. You changed the totality of your medium, right? You're in
What
a
the hell
variable,
does that mean?
and you're falling. You're in a variable and falling within a medium while you're doing that experiment. So the totality of the experiment has been changed. Therefore, you will get a different result.
That is. I don't even know where to start off with that one. That is.
Well, you do the
Right,
density
you
tower
can't
on the
answer it.
ground, right?
You can't answer
No, I
it.
can't
Let me
answer it
finish.
because he's full of
Let
shit.
me finish real quick.
Oh, that's an easy
You do the
way out
density
there,
tower
Pate.
here on the ground. You do the density tower on the ground, and then, like you said, have you ever done that in the vomit comet? Well, you just changed your environment, right? You're in a totally different scenario.
Yeah,
Well,
you're
trying to
falling.
ignore
You're
that.
falling. You're
You're
falling
trying
at the
to
same rate
ignore
of
that.
gravity is. No, the
Yeah,
reason
so
that
you get a different result because you're in a different environment.
because you're
The
falling at
experiment
gravity. You're
is
falling
being
at
done in
9.8
a
meters per
different
second per second. There is no gravity. You basically cancel gravity in the vomit comet. That's why it appears.
No, that's
weightless.
bullshit. That's bullshit.
You're falling at the same rate of gravity.
You're
That's
not
how the vomit
canceling
comet
gravity.
works.
You're falling. You're falling.
Yes, at the same rate that gravity falls. That's how the vomit comet
That's how you
works.
fall.
Yeah, because of
Okay.
gravity. That's correct.
No,
So
not
what
because
I'm
of
saying
gravity.
is that when there
Yeah,
is
because of
no
gravity,
gravity,
you
when there
fall. No, not
basically is
because of gravity.
microgravity.
Because of
So was
gravity.
it gravity
not
that made
because
the
of
pencil
gravity.
go up when you dropped it in water?
Yeah.
So when
Gravity that
something
made the pencil
falls,
go up.
so when
Buoyancy,
something falls, so when
Which has
something's
gravity.
falling, so when something's falling, and it gets all jumbled up, what? So what?
What do you mean jumbled up?
The density tower, it falls, it gets jumbled up as it's falling. So what?
Yeah, because there's no gravity to tell what the density of the stuff is.
So there's no
you
gravity.
can't.
when
No,
it's-
you're not
as soon as they
manipulating
pull out of
anything. No,
When
As soon
you're
as
not
it
it's
pulls out
falling,
the
there's
dive,
no
it
gravity?
reorients itself.
While
No,
it's
the
falling, there's no.
microgravity.
While it's falling,
micro-
there's no gravity.
The microgravity in
Holy
the system
shit,
as you
man.
fall.
Microgravity. How did you manipulate that?
Because you take the airplane and you push it over and do a parabolic arc. What do you think?
What a mess.
So
Do you know
as
how the
this
vomit
thing's
comet
falling,
works?
as this thing,
vomit comet works?
No, you don't, obviously. Just mock me all you want. You don't know.
Mock.
Listen,
Go
When you-
ahead. Who's
when you
mocking?
do
NASA
this
shell.
plane, you're just-
Paid NASA shell.
Listen,
What?
the density tower will
What a
organize
great
itself if you
debate
kept on
tactic.
falling.
And they talk about me
the
being
density tower
childish,
will
and you're
organize
mocking me.
itself if you kept on falling, man.
Mocking
It's
me.
the same thing as when you start spinning a density tower. When you start spinning, it's going to jumble up at first, but if you keep spinning it at
No
constant
arguments,
velocity,
Mr.
it'll organize itself. Same thing with the vomit comet. At first, it'll disequalize, but it will equalize if you keep falling at a constant rate. But you're not falling at a constant rate, so it's going to keep jumbling up, man. It's searching for equilibrium, man. That's all it's doing.
You're also falling in a controlled manner, as opposed to the plane getting a wing clipped off, falling.
It's the same
You get a
effect.
different result then too.
Yeah, but it
No,
is
not
falling, right?
Yes, through the medium of air.
No, I
So
get it.
what
That's
happens
what
when the
I'm
plane
saying.
hits
The
the water?
paid NASA shell.
What
When
happens
when
when the
you're in
plane
there in
hits
the
the
zero
water?
G, is the plane falling?
Yes.
Okay. Then what are you
Yes,
talking
through the
about? There's
medium
no
of air.
gravity.
You're falling at the same rate of gravity.
that's what I was trying to say a minute ago, but you
Inside-
wouldn't let me finish my sentence
inside
because
the
it absolutely
plane-
destroys what he was saying.
Inside the plane, you appear to have No gravity.
Up here, you were
Up here,
still
that doesn't mean that
under.
you do.
You were still
apparent.
falling.
Because you're in a container that's falling faster than you are.
Faster than you.
Yeah,
At the
yeah,
same
that's
speed
right.
you
That,
are.
right.
You're not hitting the back.
When it drops below you, okay, it is traveling faster than you. That's why you leave the ground.
Hey,
You don't get stuck.
Yeah, it
hey,
is.
NASA
it
Shell.
That's exactly
Let's say I have
why.
a plastic ball, and I surround the plastic ball with another skin-tight plastic ball that's real tight around the first plastic ball, and I throw that plastic ball up in the air, and it falls down. When it falls down, is the plastic ball in the inside affected by gravity? Yes or no?
It is affected by gravity. It is
That's a yes. That's a yes.
What are you trying to do? What are you trying to do? You trying to get me to? You trying to make me dig down?
I'm trying to make a point that you think it's not actually 0 G's. It's not actually zero gravity. It just showed it on this fucking chart. It's certainly under the effects of gravity, quotation marks. It's falling. It just happens to be inside of something else.
I tried to explain this to him a minute ago, but he wouldn't let me get my fucking sentence out and kept interrupting me. That's one of their tactics.
I'm sorry, you're very low, Jeremy, and you're cutting out.
No, he's not. I can hear him. You're not cutting out, Jeremy.
Well, let me boost him then.
Do you see my screen? I should still be sharing my screen.
No,
here's the vomit comment. Here's the plane. This whole plane, including everything in it, is undergoing 1.8 G's. What does that G mean?
Gravity. When
there you
it
go.
pulls up, yes.
Do you get my point?
When it pulls up, it has to.
I
Yeah,
get
when
it.
it pulls
I
out,
get
it dives.
That's why he said appears.
I get it.
Yeah, appears. That's not the same thing as
Appears
actually
means it's
is.
not.
Appears.
Mean it is.
Not.
You get Aether Bandit. You get in the airplane. You pull 9 G's. You're feeling 9 G's.
What's your
you're
point?
feeling centrifugal force.
Yeah,
Acceleration.
exactly.
My bank account ain't filling 9 G's.
Yeah, it has nothing to do with G's.
Don, you saw that video.
No, you're
So
accelerating.
we will start off with the fact that the density tower scrambles when it is falling. When you're falling, you're basically similar. Oh, never mind. You guys don't understand that.
I can't explain it. I better stop talking. I can't explain it. Abort.
You guys are so dense.
Abort.
That's what you do, Travis.
Speaking of density,
Start doing dumb voices. Like a baby.
Start doing dumb voices.
There you
Yeah,
go.
see what I mean? You have no arguments.
Right.
All you want left.
There we go.
Right.
I'm sorry. I don't listen to them.
Right.
If that's the best you can do, if that's the best you can do, you deserve to be muted.
That's the best you can do.
See, he's a little baby.
Hey,
Paid, I just want to know if whenever you say QE's name, do you touch yourself?
Maybe.
Do you do that when you say ether band?
Oh, that's original. That was really good, Ed. So come up with another original comeback.
Right.
Do it again. Do it again.
Why don't you try to come up with an actual argument?
Try to come out with an actual argument.
Yes.
Yes.
You've got nothing.
You got nothing, man. You got nothing.
Would you like a cup of tea? I can't believe you're
just a clown.
You're a clown.
Yes, you are a clown.
Yes.
Don't mock people's accents.
No, you're a clown.
Amazing.
Well, guys, I think it's we've descended far enough tonight. That was a good fun conversation. Very interesting about that egg in the water, balloon in the water thing. I'd like to point out, this is my final thoughts, I suppose, then I'll give you guys the mic. I'd like to point out that Jimbo was correct in what he had said originally about changing the air pressure above the water, causing the egg to go up or down. So hats off to Jimbo. I'm glad we looked for that. That was good. And I learned something tonight, actually. I actually learned something, so I'll admit to being ignorant about that effect.
Yes, Jimbo was right. Oh, my bad.
No, go ahead. You can go next.
Jimbo was right, but what happened is the density of the egg or the density of the balloon got changed. So all that is relative density. It's still relative density.
All right, thanks, Jeremy. Essie Montreal. Silent Zero.
Yeah, just want to say a good show, and it's all relative density to me. I guess we can show it without coming up with the magical forces. That's it.
Thanks, Silent Zero. Percentage.
Yeah, the show is prime. Relative density, gravity, what have you. It doesn't really make sense to question the cause of those laws and not the other laws. It's funny how they for some natural laws they'll say it's mass attracting mass or whatever bullshit, but for other laws they're not willing to question it, or they haven't made a fucking they haven't made any kind of random excuse of what the cause is. But yeah, good show.
Yeah, thanks, man. LEB. Bandsaw.
Yeah, good show, mate. Next time. Keep it up.
Thanks, Bandsaw. Brian.
Yeah, man. In my opinion, we'll never demonstrate anything not seeking equilibrium as far as anything goes, as far as temperature, as far as pressure, as far as electrostatics, as far as objects, as far as up and down. Everything is working out of equilibrium, which makes it relative. I don't think there's any way to demonstrate anything ever in nature breaking that law. Mass attracting mass is not observed in nature that I could ever see or have ever heard of without some kind of bullshit trickery, in my opinion. And that's my thoughts on that. Everything works in equilibrium. Good show, Brandon. Thanks. Oh, one more thing. The line I got, and just in case anybody else goes to order, it doesn't have the distance. My 5-pound spool of 120-pound test turns out to be a little over a mile, which is kind of sucks, but that's all I was going to do to start with anyway. That's all my distance is. I tried to do it last night. I was patching a couple spots on my boat, which turns out it's a little 12-foot boat, a little flat-bottom boat. But long story short, I'm hopefully going to do that tomorrow or Saturday. Tomorrow after work or Saturday I'm off. I'm going to stretch it over a mile and film it and pull it underwater, do it above water, just so we can put some visualization to all of our discussion and thoughts. Thank you.
Cool. Look forward to seeing that, Brian. Thanks. Data.
The caught part of the show. Just keep it going, Brian. It's good to talk about the concepts and distinguishing the difference between reality and a concept. So keep on it.
Thanks, man. Don Gio.
Yeah, appreciate the show as usual, man. It was nice. It was awesome. You had a little bit of entertainment going on there for a second, man, keeping the audience, at their edge of the seat. But yeah, everything that Jimbo was saying, I definitely got it right away. I was like, wait a minute, yeah, I can see what he's going with it, but nobody else was seeing it at first. Hey, I sent you that song if you want to play it. If you don't, at the outro or something. If you got Ed, he's one of my #1 fan when it comes to that song. If a Glober likes it, I'm sure Flat Earthers would.
Yeah, cool. I'll play it before I shut the show down. Thanks for reminding me about that. Effie Fairy Tale Extraordinaire, Ed.
Yes. Right. So again, relative density is just a number. Doesn't mean anything. It's like saying, well, I'm dividing 4 apples, so now there's 2 apples and another 2 apples. Yeah, that's not a force. That doesn't explain how things move. And until you can actually do that, or you guys, I should say, can do that, then it's just a number. And relative density doesn't mean anything besides being a number. Also, the Earth is not flat. Thank you.
Thanks, Ed. Let's see who's next. Sorry, I clicked away for a second. I was opening that video there. Whoever's next, go.
Good show, Brandon.
Yeah, great show.
Thank you. Global Virus Foe is actually next. Go ahead.
No, I agree. It was a good show. It was enjoyable.
Oh, thanks, man. Travis, anything else?
No, I just said good show. Yes.
Yeah, you said the important stuff, right?
Right.
James Richard, thanks, man.
Right.
I would just say on the balloon and egg thing, it seems to me that when you change the pressure of the water or the air, that's entropy. So entropy is allowing relative density to take effect.
I think I get what you're saying, yeah. James, was that you that sent that $10 Streamlabs earlier?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I was looking for I thought you had like a join members.
Yeah, it's on the homepage in YouTube. Should,
oh, okay. I got you.
yeah, you should see it there. I can give you the link. I'll just put it in general. But thanks, man. And Jimbo. No? Jimbo? Thought you'd take a victory lap. Matrix Media J. Patient Zero.
Why would he take it? My bad.
He'd take a victory lap because he was right about the egg going up or down when the pressure changes.
Yeah, but it's still relative. It's still relative density, though.
Well, that's a whole different story. Patient Zero. No. Okay. Essie, you back? No. Okay. Thanks, guys. I'll be back in a minute. I'll record the after show. I'm going to play Don's video on YouTube if anybody wants to listen to it, and then close out the show. So thanks, guys.
Hey, Brandon, are you gonna play last night's after show anytime?
Something happened with my computer last night. I only recorded a little bit of it.
Shut up.
No, I swear. Why did it get good?
Oh my god.
Oh shit! Sorry about that.
It was boss. It was boss.
Yeah, I started getting this screeching sound, and I thought it was my headphones, and I thought it was something on the computer, and it didn't stop until I shut the recording down. So I don't know, fucked something up. But anyway, Thanks again, guys. I'll be back. Okay, thanks everybody in the audience for listening, and I thought that was a pretty fun show there. Let me just shout out channel members. Again, P. Mantis, Brian Leakey, Helvetica Bold, Logan's Run, Headed 1949, Earth Circus, Super Flurf, Gourdzilla 37, 787, Gen X. Shout out channel members. Much appreciated. We'll be back tomorrow night. I really want to go through a bunch of NASA fakery. So get your links ready. If you send me some good links during tomorrow's show, I'll bring them up. Even better yet, put them in the Discord, DM them to me, get them to me somehow. Hopefully I'll have time to go and find a bunch of good ones. I know Jeremy's got a pile of them. All right, well, we will see you tomorrow night. I'm going to play this video from Don Geo, and then I'll close out the show, guys. So here we go. As soon as I find it. I just realized it wasn't coming through on the sound. Sorry about that, guys. Here, I'll just start it over.
NASA has given us spectacular photos of renderings that reveal a colorful and mysterious universe.
I woke up, got out of bed and brushed my teeth. I grabbed the phone and start to roam. I seen the screen. Flat earth scratched my head and what's this mean? Clicked on it, to be honest, yeah, I had to see. CGI, the fish eye, I couldn't believe they use technology to deceive. So many bodies are closed-minded. The assignment is solely eyeing on photos up in the lineup. How can you tell they're not lying? Cognitive dissonance. Yes, it gets real intense. Some might be on the fence. They just can't handle it. Think of the innocence. Yeah, explaining a little bit. You just can't lie to them. Think we will jump shit. Let's go down. Boom, boom. Nathan Oakley. Gravity has a new dance. A hokey pokey. Turns itself about. Yeah, okie dokie. Cause a double speak, always speak when you wanna tell your story. Gravity holds gases down, no container. You just don't understand the math is on the paper. Globe heads get mad, filled up with anger, and tell you you're just a science hater. Hypothesis starts out with something you observe. All I see is flat water, where's the curve?
He's introducing us to two of the artists behind some of the most iconic space art in the galaxy.
Nathan Thompson with pamphlets and Bible scriptures. You can't just look past with the antics and dance it off like it ain't this different creation that is easily taken. They didn't know the whole earth, you're just easily mistaken. ODD, TV, and Eric Dubay with which it gets it. Let's talk physics and do it that way. Why would they lie? You can easily say, I say easily 4 times. Did you heard it okay? Cause you probably don't pay attention to what they say. And take it in and think again. You're being played. Yeah. Flat Earth. Hey, you know, why is it important? Because it is!
Cool. Have a good night, everybody. Talk to you later. Bye.